Hello, Redditors. Hello, Challenge fans. Welcome to the Challenge Redditors React Podcast. We had a bit of a switch around last week, but turns out that George has had a breakdown from having to host the show. But he's absolutely fine now, and he is back with one of the most beautiful haircuts I've ever seen. I'm Levi Hall. He's George. He's my co-host. Look at that trim. How you doing, George?
I think I'm about 3 kilograms lighter. It took a long time to chop this mop off my head.
They do your pubes as well.
Nah, that would have been...
Happy Friday night!
Mate, we said we were going to stop doing the pods on Friday because it just makes us incredibly weird.
I know, but we only do it when work is has to take precedent on a Thursday, and it has for me this week. So thank you so much for giving up your Friday nights to sit on Zoom with a very hairy-faced man and talk challenge.
I could not think of a better Friday evening.
Well,
yeah, I could actually, if you were hairier.
Oh, well, just you wait. We have got a very, very exciting podcast, as we always do, because we are going to be talking about everything that happened on Wednesday night's episode of the challenge, and it really felt like a proper episode of the challenge as opposed to this. No, after you, rookie, you can be eliminated this week. And we are joined by our guest panelist from Reddit and friend of the show. She's been on a few times. It's our mate Lauren, so that'll be a good fun. But before that, George, it's banter time.
What do I have for you this week? I played my first game of rugby in about 2.5 years last Saturday, hence the trim so I could run faster. I can't bend my finger any further than this.
Oh my God, you look like Kyle after Hall Brawl with Fessy.
No, not that bad. Like it didn't break. It's just like it was like about twice. The top of it was twice the size than it should have been. That sounds weird. Last time, but I had it's a very enjoyable game. We won 40-10. I had what we would call a mixed game where I set up 2 tries, killed one of their flankers, and then got run over by the biggest man I've played against rugby in a long time, and his boot went straight into my face.
Oh, yes, well, your face still looks lovely. I want to make that very clear, and you're still the hot guy from the podcast.
I am not the hot guy of the podcast. You are the hot guy of the podcast.
No, I'm just the guy with a lot of testosterone, as we can see here. Well, I have got some huge news. I teased you with it before the podcast.
Yeah, that's why we jumped straight into it. We actually haven't caught up this week.
No, this is huge news. Are you ready for it? Take a breath, prepare yourself. I've finally got a full tank of petrol. I am
overjoyed for you. So you're going to have a fresh trim next podcast because you couldn't go back home because of a lack of petrol, could you?
So potentially, I am going back this weekend, but I don't know if I will be getting the fresh trim. But I can now do stuff. Like I literally was cancelling all of my plans because I couldn't get there. I had to save all the petrol for work. Now, Levi's life is back. Levi can be sociable.
You've got a couple of big things coming up which should feed into our banter section quite nicely, haven't you? Because have you got a stag in the next couple of weeks?
I have. Now, as excited as I am about the stag, I had to tell you the bad news, which is the stag weekend is over your birthday weekend. So unfortunately, George, I will not be at your birthday. But
that is very unfortunate because I was looking forward to live pods during the birthday. That would have been hilarious.
But George, that week I'm off work for a week. So I think you, me, Ed from the Challenge Fresh Eyes, we go out and we get drunk that week. Not for the whole week, just one night.
Would you like to meet my mum? We're doing Flight Club on the Wednesday night with me and a few mates. I think I spent a lot of this. Guys, this is actually the first time I'm asking this. This wasn't pre-prepared. Would you like to come to Fight Club with the Hobbs clan and some horrible bastards?
So, a couple of
Irish Order's going to be there.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I can't believe I'm finally going to meet your mum. We've been together for nearly a year now, George, on the podcast, and finally, I would love to meet your mum. Although in our do you remember in our group chat you made a comment about keep Levi away from your mum? Well, yeah, but you're bringing Mama Hobbs straight to Levi.
Yeah, that's fine. Ed's there and he's a fucking psycho and he'll kill you.
That's a fair point. Although Ed did, I thought Ed's been catfishing me on Reddit.
Yeah, he told me.
So basically, we got given those like Reddit rewards, from someone, and I didn't know what the handle was, and he was just like, oh, I had a few left, I thought I'd give them to you and George. I thought it was just a listener. I was like, oh, that's really kind of you. And we had a bit of back and forth, and then like 7 months later he went, this is Ed, by the way. So I messaged you with the screen grab, was like, is this Ed? And then in my head I was like, why would someone try and catfish me as George's brother on Reddit? That's really random. But I would absolutely love to do that. We'll talk about it off pod. I was about to say which flight club we're going to, but we'll talk about it off pod. Don't even need to drive there. I'll get the tube.
Let me add you to this. Ed will be incredible. Sorry, this is terrible content for everyone listening. As if my shitty hosting didn't lose us enough listeners last week.
I can't believe this. No, do you know what the punters want? Levi challenge next week. Become best friends with George's mum.
Oh, that's a great challenge.
Week after next. Sorry, it's the week after next. No, the week after next.
Yeah.
Oh, he's put me in a WhatsApp group. It's official.
This is very exciting.
Oh, I just want to apologise, by the way, to the listeners that I didn't put as many clips up this week. It was partly down to the fact that Facebook, someone accidentally deleted a couple of lines of code on Facebook, which shut down the whole of the internet. So I couldn't actually get on Instagram for about 2 days.
Made my life incredibly easy for a while.
Other than WhatsApp, I wasn't fussed.
Yeah.
Because I know Americans...
Reddit was up. All I needed.
Yeah. Reddit was up, and do you know what else was probably up? Your massive poll. What a segue!
That is a great segue. Before we segue, quick thing for anyone in the UK. So 2 of you, go sign up to London Cocktail Week. It is £15 for a wristband, and you get £7 cocktails in 400 bars. I went to one on Wednesday with Big Bombshell for the pod, my glorious new girlfriend Alice, who is lovely, and we got 15 cocktails. Free whiskey.
Can I just
free
say that's
olives.
the same girl that you've been dating? You've not suddenly just got a new girlfriend while you were dating someone?
Yeah, she's about to start listening to the pod, so I wanted to drop that in because I don't know, get me out of trouble for something when I fuck up.
Do you know what's really nice? Those texts you were sending me about how beautiful she is and how lovely she is and how caring she is, and just like, you know, you were saying what a great woman she is, and I can't wait to meet her. While I'm meeting your mum.
I'm so okay with you marrying my mum after that.
Is that an option?
You'd be an uptick from the last one.
Just call me daddy.
No.
Okay.
Oh, God. Moving on. Anyway, 14 cocktails, loads of whiskey. I feel quite sick after that. Let's move on to the massive
Just
poll.
quick thing. That wasn't sponsored. That's just George trying to make more people alcoholics, just so everyone's aware.
Yeah, exactly. I need more friends because I keep offending them when I'm drunk.
And also, you're about to lose one to the lovely Mrs. Hobbs.
I think you'd be a good dad. Anyway, so the poll this week, I went with quite a simple one, actually. I wanted to know how people felt after the change that we got at the end of last episode. No more rookie pairs. Vets look like they're going against each other. Now, it was, how do you feel about the rest of this? How do you think the rest of the season is going to go? Rest will be amazing. I'm hopeful, but I've been hurt before. Undecided. Good episode, but won't last. And terrible season. Let's just skip to the next one. I'm glad to admit 952 votes. Over 700 were the top 2 answers. So 212 think it'll be amazing. 500 think it'll be, they're hopeful, but they're cautious. And then 57 said terrible season. Let's just skip to the next, which I don't really like. And I wish I hadn't put as an option, you negative Nancy's.
I'm sorry for voting that one, but I haven't enjoyed it so far. What about Redditor's Corner? What has been going on the Reddit? Obviously, Brian put out his article yesterday, which I've yet to read because I want to read it after the podcast because I don't want to accidentally steal some of his lines.
Yeah, fair enough. It's a good one this week. I won't spoil you anymore, but yeah, go head over to brianrbatty@medium.com.
.medium. It's not an email address. brianrbatty.medium.com.
I am the world's worst tech consultant. I don't even know how to send off a website address. But yes, Brian's article, very good. Wonderful opening picture, which we'll touch on later. Then we have, I've got a bit of a plug actually. A wonderful person on the Reddit called Nova Rogue does a weekly.
I know Nova Rogue. I feel like
she's very, very active, very, very strong value add to the Reddit. But she does a weekly thing of like vote for your player of the week, best social game, and it really helps me track who's doing well throughout the season, how the Reddit's responding. Just a bit of a plug. And then she does write-ups after. They're absolutely brilliant. Please go vote if you see it. I actually just searched by a username to make sure I don't miss it. And I've only got one other thing from Redditor's Corner this week.
Before you have, just while we're on the plugging scenario, I'd also like to plug. This feels like we're just randomly plugging people. No one's paid us or anything. We just like we like people that provide challenge content, and we feel like we should mention it. Challenge Stats put up an amazing infographic this week, which was the breakdown of the episode and how much of the episode was mission, how much was elimination, how much was game chat, how much was deliberation, which is fantastic. I think they do that every week. So follow at Challenge Stats.
I love Challenge Stats. They are a beautifully designed infographics as well, actually. Very pleasing on the eye.
And also, our fellow independent challenge podcaster, at Challenge Historian, he got married this week. So big congratulations to him. Definitely listen to his stuff. He does... He records straight after the show, and then he puts it out on the Thursday. So when we have our Friday records, go listen to him beforehand. And he also does little kind of bite-sized recaps just before the next episode airs. So nice. as I put on Instagram a few times this week, I think it's important that us independent challenge podcasters all stick together, because really we're just doing it for, the challenge fans to consume more and more content. So consume Challenge Stats, consume Challenge Historian, consume Brian, consume Alan, consume Nova Rogue, and continue to consume us, because George...
And continue to consume cocktails.
And George has been consuming the Reddit this week, and this is what's in Redditor's Corner.
First one, we've done our shout-outs. Now, there's been the big topic, not such a positive one, is Paulie and Cara's... should we say Fire Festival Part 2 is, I don't know who named it that on the Reddit. I love you, genius. Their little weekend escape took place this week. And I'm not going to lie, I headed over to the official event story. The first one's very weird. It's Paulie leading two people in a workout. That was incredibly weird to watch. And then the rest of it just appears to be Cara and Paulie taking selfies with their friends and not really talking to the people who pay to join them. I'm sure that might not be the full story.
We're obviously not there. This is just what we've seen. And I mean George. I'm not involved in this.
On that note,
character assassination.
If you could have gone to I've got the schedule for this. It's a 7 a.m. roaring session with Paulie, which sounds weird. I see you have been. They then have a bit of a workout together. They then seem to have a women's only selfie taking class. There's a night out and some dancing. It generally does sound like they've just got people.
Sorry, why aren't the men allowed to take selfies?
I don't know.
And my voice feels really high on this podcast. I'll be honest this week.
Does it?
Yes.
Nice. So my question to you is, if somehow you won a free ticket, would you have gone?
Absolutely fucking not.
So I would have, just out of sick curiosity. I would have to know.
You know why? Because I'm pretty sure it's all-inclusive bar, and that is classic George.
Yeah, I definitely would not be going to the morning roaring session with Paulie.
Do you reckon they play Katy Perry during that?
Oh, that's niche.
No, she's...
That is Irish.
People love the Katy Perry.
Anyway, so yes. Go have a look at the 10 escape, whether it's called Instagram stories. If you're just curious, if you don't want to have nightmarish images in your eyes, don't go look at it. And that concludes Redditor's Corner.
Was that even on Reddit?
Yeah, someone sent the things like, this is like, there's been quite a lot of good chat about it. Some very entertaining. Okay, I think the Reddit's opinion, this is the swingers club. This is them starting their own swingers club.
Yeah, okay. You know that whole free ticket thing? And I said, no, I'm back in.
You just really want to plow Paulie, don't you?
Absolutely fucking not. Anyway, unfortunately, I'm still struggling to listen to a new Emmy track, by the way, because I feel like I've still peaked at Alien. I'm really worried to go back to the ones I don't understand, because obviously they're in Romanian. Good news is, this week I started a Romanian class on the Duolingo app. So I'm hoping to start... Yeah, genuinely. So I'm hoping to start understanding some of these. I'm actually doing it for work. I'm not really doing it to listen to Emmy, but I think it might help the situation. But what's made me feel even better is that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who we are all aware is my favorite person in the world, has also just released a rap song with Tech9, Joey Cool, and King ISO. It's called Face Off. Dwayne does his recording in one take and then promotes his tequila. And I'll tell you who we're going to promote. Our guest for this week, it is only our friend from Reddit, Lomat012. She has been on the podcast now. I think this will be her 5th appearance. So she is catching up with Brian. It's Lauren. So without further ado, Lauren, welcome to the podcast. Lauren, we've missed you. How's your cousin Abigail?
She's doing very well, but still waiting on that time she gets to meet you.
Oh, that's all lies. That's all lies. But we're lucky enough that we're meeting you again for more than 5 times in real life, but for the 5th time on the podcast. How have you been? How was Hawaii?
It is lovely. It is the prettiest place I have ever seen. If you are a nature person, you got to go.
Well, we've gone from Lauren being in the prettiest place to George and I seeing the prettiest face. George, good to see Lauren again.
An absolute pleasure. What does your cousin really think of Levi?
You know, I think it's too soon to tell, but I was wondering, whose face were you talking about?
Yours.
Oh, I thought we were referencing George's mom.
Oh, I've yet to see it. It will be very soon, I hope. Just to let you know, your cousin hasn't replied to me, and the last message I sent her was on the 24th of April. So have a word, will you? But before you do, let's all have a few words, maybe 2 hours worth, all about the latest episode of the challenge, because it is back, or it was back on Wednesday. We're a little bit delayed for another episode. Last week, the game finally got interesting as Priscilla finally ended the rookie bloodbath and made an enemy of Millionaire Mitchell. So let's head to the house for some of the fallout. So a bit of a power move from Priscilla. You know, I don't want to say it again because I did say it a few weeks ago on the podcast. Well, last week and a few weeks ago and the week before that. I've been watching Priscilla and I've thought that she's been a good player all the way through and we just hadn't seen it. What do we think of this move? She's made a lot of enemies. She's shaken up the house. Is she in danger or are people scared of her?
I think she's obviously in danger. She's a rookie. It's clear that every rookie's in danger. So why not make that move?
Yeah. But very, very calculated, right? Because if anything, this is guaranteed she's coming back next year. If you're a rookie on this season, you've probably got like a 2% chance of winning. It's worth it to take that shot for another 30 grand and another chance of winning when you come back as a vet. So nice long game.
Well, at the moment, the only rookies I can see that are probably guaranteed coming back next year if they want to is Emmanuel and Emmy.
And
Ed.
Chuck Ed in there. He seems like he's definitely tailed off after his first couple of episodes, though. I was convinced he'd be back, but he wasn't. I think Michelle. Fans are clamoring out for Michaela. I think Kels would come back.
When you say fans are clamoring out for Michaela, do you mean Cory Lay is clamoring out for Michaela and Michaela's clamoring out for Cory Lay?
She gets brought up on the Reddit a lot. Lauren, was it Survivor? Was that her original?
Survivor.
And she's really popular from that, isn't she? Because she was great. Yeah. So
are Michelle and Tommy, so I could see them coming back as well.
I read on the Reddit that the only reason that Michaela and Tommy were on was because they wanted Jay and Natalie, and Jay and Natalie got pulled out last minute for COVID.
Really?
Yes, they did a little Survivor switcheroo.
Oh, interesting. Tommy won't be back. I think he's like deleted all this stuff and he's going back to be a teacher full time.
And he's still got concussion.
And he's got his dick out on TV.
Oh, George, classic George talking about the poll. How did you feel when you saw Tommy's penis?
I don't remember seeing his penis.
You didn't see the UK version then? That's just not edited.
Oh.
Absolute firecracker. Anyway, Josh tells Priscilla one of the biggest moves in the game, but now he worries they're an easy target, which was great because I'd forgotten they were together. It's been a long week. And then Josh teleports And he's now with Cory and Tori discussing Priscilla's move and how the vets are now scrambling as a vet's going to be voted into elimination. Not for the first time. No, for the first time. For the first time. And Tori asked if Cory knew Jeremiah would steal her. What a question, because he said yes. And then the three of them pat themselves on the back and say, let the war begin. But did Tori take the first shot with that question to Cory? Lauren, he's revealed too much.
He's definitely revealed too much and too early.
Yeah, this was a bit weird from Cory, right? Because we've seen him do well, get to the finals in Total Madness and Double Agents by basically doing fuck all. And now he seems like he's trying to do too much. And the last time we saw him try to do too much was when, well, apart from ploughing his way through half the cast, was when he said he's got a hit list on Dirty 30, and that like, screwed him in vendettas, wasn't it? He then came in final reckoning, but he was late, and then he tried to kill Tony. So yeah, Cory needs to. I think he's hyped himself up a bit too much here, and he needed to lay low for the first bit of the Vets game.
Do you guys miss single Cory?
He always makes the finals when he lays low, so I don't know why he's keeping his game up.
Do you miss single Cory?
It's much better TV.
Yeah. Now he's just good looking, and that's it.
I liked him at the start of this season, though, because he was doing a lot of the spying. Like the first episode, he overhears two really important conversations and then throws someone under the bus, and I quite enjoyed that. Enjoyed him being a bit of a shit stirrer the other episode. At least he was doing stuff. But clearly, the more entertainment he gives us, it's indirectly correlated to how well he does.
Right.
Do you know who else is doing a lot in this episode? Josh, because he teleports into another room. he's lit. Wait for it, because he's in the next one as well. He's with Amanda and Ashley in the bedroom, and Josh tells them Cory is the head honcho. Josh is literally going from one conversation to another and just telling everyone what's going on. He says Cory's the head honcho.
He's thrown up my finals threats with this teleportation ability.
It's unbelievable. Well, Ashley's worried she's going to be targeted because she really wants to be a female with 3 wins. It's really weird. This episode kind of made me forget, one, that the first girl that Cory hooked up with on MTV was Ashley. And two, they were on the same season of The Real World together for about 3 episodes. And then they were partners in one of the rival seasons. It's almost like they don't know each other anymore. It's so sad. Also, does that mean that she's banged all 3 Young Bucks now?
I don't think she banged him on The Real World.
I think she, who knows?
I remember. I think it was just a very, very drunken makeout.
Yeah, but they must have some other time.
They would show it, I think.
2 good-looking cats.
I'm waiting for the next Ashley Instagram Live where she ranks them.
Also, as well, she could stick Fessy in there. Did she shag Fessy? Did I make that up?
They made out with Fessy, and they didn't show it on the main show. They showed it like on an after show or something like that.
Oh yes, in the Double Agents.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because Fessy had that really romantic relationship with Gabby, didn't he, during that season? So they didn't want to ruin it. But look how angry
that made me sterile.
Can I tell you something that's going to make you even more sterile? Josh is teleporting again. He's now with Kyle. And he says that they've got flaky numbers and Cory is protecting his rookies, Bettina, Jeremiah, and Priscilla. And he thinks Cory is a problem. Josh is such a fucking shit stirrer / wants TV time.
Okay, so hold on. If a more popular cast member did this, though, Vet Alliance
I'd love it.
I was going to say, Vet Alliance has just gone. Everyone they always think they're on the chopping block, but they're all at the most danger they've ever been. This is very quick groundwork from Josh to at least like instantly shine the spotlight on someone else. Like, credit where it's due.
Although
I agree, Josh he's a gamer. That was kind of his game in Big Brother, is to shine a bad light on somebody else to make himself look better. So it works for him.
But his Big Brother victory was literally like nothing to do with him, wasn't it? Didn't he get dragged to the final and then he won because the other guy had screwed so many people over?
Yeah, but he managed his jury a lot better, which is a big part of the game. So
Didn't the other guy come second 2 years in a row?
that he did.
Oh, it's gutting.
Yeah.
Should he have won? You know all this stuff. You watch
He
all the
should have won
reality
both
TV.
those times.
Why didn't he, Lauren? Tell us.
The second time is because he was an absolute asshole to everybody in the house and basically formed a cult and tortured everybody who wasn't in the cult. A lot of backstabbing to his allies. The first season, I think there were maybe a lot of women on the jury who didn't like him, and they chose to vote for a woman instead.
And women, solidarity. We like that.
Solidarity. I just hate arseholes. I'm quite glad he lost.
Yeah. Also, we hate the assholes. Not big fans of the bumholios. Anyway, next morning, literally one of the best things I've ever seen on the challenge. Not the fact Tori's doing yoga, but Emmanuel is just trying to do yoga with one leg whilst eating some cornflakes off a bowl on his head. Is it weird that for me was actually really entertaining to watch?
Well, when I saw it, I thought he's going to be some sort of meme that is used for years to come.
Well, he made the front cover of Brian's article. Also, pretty certain it's a shame they've just remade The Lion King because he'd actually make a wonderful Rafiki.
I don't know what that means.
Have you not watched Lion King?
I have watched The Lion King, but not for years.
Thank God.
Not the Beyonce one, though. I've not watched the Beyonce one.
I haven't either.
I watched the I did watch like the like human remake of Aladdin, and I was just like, this is not what Aladdin should be.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the live action ones.
No, it kind of
Jungle
puts me
Book's
off.
good. But anyway, sorry. Good balance from Emmanuel. I think that's probably the only game insight we can draw from that. The other thing is he's fucking nuts.
I love him. I actually really like him.
Did we say he would get a call back? Because I think he will.
100%.
Okay.
The Romanians would 100% get a call back. Him and Emmy.
I do think out of...
I'll be making the call with my Duolingo Romanian lessons.
He completely gets the game, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I think he grasped it very quickly. He was in like the top 3 or 4 teams in the first 5 episodes to finish the daily mission. And yeah, he's probably the most impressive rookie performance-wise. Emmy probably is a whole package in terms of what the challenge wants.
Do you know?
He had the romance. He said what? Michelle and a little bit of
He's
Cory.
about to have Tori. Yeah, he wants a bit of Tori, which is weird because he was in love with Michelle a couple of weeks ago, which in Challenge World was probably about 4 days.
So are you.
Oh yeah, I was for a bit. Don't tell Lauren. She'll tell her cousin. Then her cousin will tell your mum, George, and then I've got no one. I'm only joking. I wouldn't do that to your mother. Anyway, speaking of, I was going to say speaking of mothers, but they're not. But one of them is a father. Cory and Nelson are doing some Challenge Alliance maths. Not the people you want to be doing that.
Cory's a father?
Yeah, he's got 2 kids. I don't know if you know that.
Too easy.
One of them gets paid by MTV. So they're doing some Challenge Alliance maths. Probably not the best people to be doing that. And what they've worked out is that it's TYB versus Big Brother versus Devon and his crew. I would buy a t-shirt from We're Devon Walker that says Devon and his crew member. There you go. It's another one, Devon. No need to thank us. He has released it. If not you, then who?
Big beer mug on it.
Yeah,
or
100%.
a mug with that on it would be great.
Or what about our coasters? Coasters.
Nice. Sorry, seriously here though. Am I an idiot or did they not mention the women in this game? Was it all focused on the guys who are in different crews?
Should we take the two? Well, let's take the 2 parts. First part, George, am I an idiot? Yes. Second part.
Right into that. Not putting a good word in with my mum now.
Wait, you didn't let me finish. Yes, some people would say that, but certainly not me. And then how weird is it that before we recorded this podcast, I played the clip of our first conversation together and now just bantering about your mum. I think they did. He mentioned Bettina, didn't he?
Yeah, actually, you did mention a few that's fair. It just seemed like it was over very quickly. But
They mentioned the women with the Big Brother alliance.
yeah, that Casey and Nanny, didn't they, actually? But this was a thing our guest a couple of weeks ago, the wonderful Amy, said that they were spitting in, well, she called them pods at first, but they were gaggles now. And I think
because I got confused.
Yes, you did.
Massively.
These are the three she called out. Of those, do you think there's any other like things, or is everyone else kind of floating between them and they can't pin it down?
I think it's just easier to put 4 people in a small graphic.
So lazy. Okay, then fine. Out of these gaggles, who's the strongest?
Ooh.
Loza is thinking.
It's tricky.
For the listeners, Lauren is still pondering.
Almost say Big Brother, because I think they're the least likely.
Boo!
I
They're
know.
the least
Big
likely
Brother
to what?
sucks.
I don't know how strong Big Brother are because.
Yeah, hold on, Lauren. Why
Casey, Josh tension? Do you not think though, Lauren?
I think that they're the strongest because if there's any tension, I think they still won't turn on each other. I can see Devin's crew turning on each other in the end. The other crew is made up of a bunch of rookies, which we know they're going to be targeted. So, I mean, then that's why I believe in the Big Brother crew. You've got Josh and Nani, who both are pretty good at making other friends in the house. I see them being most insulated.
Here's my question to you, Lauren. Which of the crews would you want to be in?
Ooh.
TYB crew, Big Brother crew, Devin and his crew.
Devin and his crew.
It'd be so much fun. It'd be literally the most fun ever. Or
imagine if there's a daily drinking challenge. That crew is walking away with it.
Well, here's the other option for you, Lauren. You could be floating around in the middle like the new hot guy Logan is. How hot is Logan?
Oh, he's a beautiful man. And
He's
I really
hot.
liked his braids this episode were very well done.
Oh, no, I think he's hotter when the hair's down and he looks a bit like grizzled.
Oh, yeah. Little rough is nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely one of the better looking ones.
George doesn't think he's hot.
Really, George? What's your type then?
Joss.
You know what I'm going to do, George? When I meet your mother, I'm going to show her a picture of Logan and I'm going to say, Mrs. Hobbs, the future Mrs. Hall, do you think this guy is hot? And she will say yes. And then I will turn the picture to you and it will really be a picture of me. Ha 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 ha.
My maternal grandmother is called Hall. That's so fucking weird. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, so Logan's in the middle. They don't know where he stands. They want to find out what Devin and Josh are doing, as Cory's worried that he might be the house vote. And Cory thinks that they're probably, despite what Priscilla did, she can always play the, well, I've already been in, Bettina's not been in card. So he thinks that there's a really good chance that it's going to be him and Bettina next. And then Nelson, he ends the conversation just by reminding us what the title of the season is, Spies, Lies and Allies. Thanks, Nelly. Don't know what we do without you. Do you think Nelly just feels like, do you think they say to him, do us a favor, just say some of these words in your conversation?
I think they probably tell the whole cast that.
And Nelson's the only one dumb enough to do it.
Yeah.
Do you think that they would have, well, I mean, we've watched the episode, but at this point of watching the episode, did you think that they were right and maybe Bettina would go in first, or do you think there were enough people that wanted Priscilla gone because she's dangerous? It's a good question, that, isn't it, George?
The thing is, Priscilla is not going to be the house vote, is she? And to be fair, I don't think that really matters. Like, chuck one of them in, and the ramifications of either don't really change up the game. I don't think. I think,
what do you think,
probably
Lauren? Oh, sorry, George, I didn't mean to interrupt. I thought you'd put a full stop in it with a comma.
I don't think anybody except for really Ashley took the move that serious, to be honest, enough to really dictate voting her in.
Do you think that was because she aimed at Ashley? Like she specifically said, someone said something to me in the deliberation?
I think it's because she aimed at Ashley. A lot of the women probably want Ashley out anyways. And I still don't think they really see her as much of a threat. So I think now that the game's kind of, the episode's called what? The War, they're going to start looking at the real threats in the game, which I don't think they think Priscilla is one.
Can I ask a slightly related question to what we started about? Where do you think Big T is in terms of the gaggles of vets? Because that's
probably
also
Kyle and Devon
floating around.
Yeah, Kyle would be her most likely, wasn't it? Though, because they were kind of very in each other's corners.
But she also said in all those pre-interview things that they put on their Instagram on MTV that Kyle's her number one.
She did.
They probably sat on the plane for 8 hours together and discussed. Oh no, they went to Croatia for 2 hours together and discussed we're gonna stick together. Do you reckon they were all? Do you reckon Priscilla and Kyle and Kels and Big T? Were there any other Brits? Is that the only four? Possibly Huey if they flew in from Ireland to London first. Do you think they were all on the plane together saying, okay, let's stick together?
There was Lauren too, but we know she didn't.
There's only one Lauren in our challenge life, and it's you.
Nice. Good work, Levi.
There can only be one.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I heard that right at the start of the season. Kyle tried to get a massive rookie alliance going, and then the vet alliance started. He was like, "Oh shit, I'd rather be on that team." I just let it go.
That reminds me of War of the Worlds too.
I believe that because I listened to a bit of his podcast with Bananas yesterday, and he said he was the last one in the vet alliance to find out that there was a vet alliance.
Yeah. He's just the most oblivious bloke on the planet.
Do you know how I imagine that went though?
Kyle is definitely the kid who got distracted by something shiny. Sorry, now you can go. I just want to
Nice. Do you know what? I imagine this is how it went. They all agreed to it and they were like, don't tell Kyle, we'll tell him last minute. And then just as they were going back into the house after quarantine 2, Devon went, quick thing, Vets Alliance, don't fuck it up, you're in.
Yeah, probably.
That's basically it. Now, guys, do you ever feel like people aren't listening to you?
In life, sure.
Well, I mean, what you should probably do is just get a pool cue, stand in front of a mirror and just talk to it. Because Ed did that in a completely set up scene. I like Ed. It was funny, but I don't like set up scenes in the challenge. That's all I'll say. I blame production. I don't blame Ed.
What did he say to himself in the mirror? I don't remember.
Something about changing his ways. And no message could have been any clearer.
Sorry, Rick, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. Am I allowed to quote Michael Jackson? I don't know what the rules are anymore.
I'm looking at the man in the mirror.
Yeah. But anyway,
we have to stop recordings on Fridays. We're both so shit.
We don't have a choice, George. We have to work. But no, that was annoyingly set up. I didn't like it. But I do like Ed.
I'll say one positive thing about it that I just came to my mind is, and this is because I like Ed, the scene was annoying, but I feel like if production is setting up scenes for him, good sign he'll be back.
Oh, she's so clever. This is the analysis we need.
Yeah, thank you for saving the quality of this episode, Lauren. I'm going for a lie down. You take this one home.
No, you're bloody not. You're staying right here, Georgie boy. But yeah, so next scene we get is Amber and Jeremiah having a lie down. Thank you for setting me up with that one. They're having a little cuddle in bed. Amber says she feels like an outcast because she's won before and people see her as a threat. And she feels alone, but Jeremiah makes her feel safe. Now, a couple of things. We never really saw how this relationship got started. They just started kissing one night in the club. We've not seen any development of this relationship. And then randomly last week, Amber said she wanted to throw herself in so that she could, fight with Jeremiah. Do you just feel like there's too many people for them to actually edit certain storylines in? Because this was just like, they never spoke and now they're in love in a relationship.
Okay, I don't want to say this because it sounds mean, but I just find Jeremiah not very charismatic. I don't think he's good with the camera on him, and I think that's just they've had so much to show the last couple of episodes that it just probably wasn't very interesting. Okay, I've got my best looking friend is a guy called Ed Jopling, and I have walked through a club with him. Sorry, Levi, no. I'll show you pictures in interval. But he just occasionally he'll be walking through a club, he'll walk past a stunningly attractive girl, they'll make eyes at each other, and they'll just start getting together. Jeremiah is a very good-looking man, Amber is a beautiful woman. I'm pretty certain that's how this started.
Lauren, give us the female perspective.
I think it seems like Amber feels, she said it, she feels really alone in the house. Jeremiah's probably really comforting to her. Why they're not showing it, I don't think that really fits with Amber's storyline this season. I feel like her storyline is, people, the returning champ thing, breaking off from Big Brother. She's already kind of got a narrative this season.
Okay, here's a point.
That's much better analysis than mine.
Well, no, it's always nice to know about Ed Joplin and what he gets up to in nightclubs. But here is a question. Amber obviously came in late due to God knows what happened to Lauren, if she still exists. And from what Nanny said on the aftermath with the wonderful Devon Simone, is that the Vets Alliance was set up before Amber arrived, which was why, despite the fact they recognized her as a vet, she wasn't in the Vets Alliance, which probably was why she was outcasted. Do you feel like if she'd have been in the original lineup and not Lauren, that her whole season this season would have been a bit different?
Not too much different, to be honest, because I could only see her possibly being above Big T in that alliance.
Yeah, someone made this very good point on the Reddit, which is like, why are people not going at CT at the moment, and why are they taking shots at Amber and Ashley instead? It's because Amber and Ashley are terrifying in a final, but beatable in eliminations.
Mm-hmm.
CT is terrifying in a final, and objectively, the only way he's going out in elimination if it's potentially purely physical against Fessy, Kells, or Jeremiah. Two of them have gone, and even that's like not. It's like what we said last week. If you shoot at the king, you have to kill them, and that's why I think Amber and Ashley are getting targeted like this. And I think even if Amber had been there at the start, no girl wants to go against her in the final because she'll just run rings around them. Because she's good at running, by the way. I'm not sure if that was clear.
Interesting analysis. Yeah, I do think it's interesting that Ed came in late and yet he's been accepted and he's a rookie. Yet she came in late and she's been, ostracized, so to speak, and she's a vet.
Was it because Ed's obviously good, right? But he's not head and shoulders threat above everyone else. I think in quite a lot of finals, it does seem, because the guy, that's something rude, most of the guys can beat the girls in the running, so it comes down to who's got the fastest girl partner, so it's a bigger differentiator. So taking out the best female runner is what all the girls will want to do.
Very, very sexist, very sexist. What do you think, Lauren? I don't know, I just find it interesting how different Amber's season's been this season compared to last season. And obviously it's because she's a champ, and obviously it's because people underestimated her last season and now have seen what she can do. But I just think it's not just the fact that they've gone at her from a game perspective. People seem to have opinions of her that we don't really see ourselves.
It's weird to me too, and I can't figure it out. I'm wondering if she's just really quiet in the house. People are reading it incorrectly, and she's not really forming really close friendships, because if you think of that Vet Alliance, a lot of them have very, very tight friendships. So I think it's a combination of that and her being the returning champ.
Well, I mean, from one friend of the pod to another, we got Devin, and Cory's speaking to him. Devin says, look, I want to see a vet win this game, but I want to see a non-champion vet win this game. Basically saying, I don't want CT, Ashley, or Amber to win this game. And therefore, he says he sees Ed and Ashley as a clear option in the vote. He loves CT, but doesn't want to see him in a final for obvious reasons. But he's got mixed feelings about Ashley, but doesn't want to see her in a final. The thing I see with Ashley, and we're going back to how people perceive people in the game, it seems with Ashley that outside the game, all of the challengers love her. Yet when it's in the game, they all go for her.
I was trying to think during that episode too, what problem does Devin have with her? I couldn't think of any conflict they'd ever had on a challenge before, but I think he mentioned a couple of times that he didn't really like her.
But also Devin's close to Amanda, so you'd think by proxy he'd be close with Ashley.
Yeah.
Is Devin close with Amanda?
Yeah, they're on the same Are You the One season.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean they're close?
Yes, that's how MTV challenge relationships work. If you're on the same season as someone, you're best friends.
So Cory and Ashley?
She got kicked off that season, so.
Okay, so anyway, moving on.
Cory had kids. Cory turned into a different person. But no, seriously, like, again, why do people seem to have this issue with Ashley inside the game that they don't have with her outside the game? Is it, again, the same thing as Amber? It's jealousy and being scared of them in a final. But surely the guys would want to run a final with Ashley and with Amber.
I think there's a better time to talk about this.
Okay, let's talk about it at that better time. So that night, Big T tells Logan, it's very hot. That's not what she tells him, but she says it's important to keep people close. And Logan says he has
Logan.
Josh. Hello, Logan. He has Josh, he has Devin, he has Big T, he has Nanny. And he thinks that the move to make is to attack Nelson, who just so happens to be Big T's partner, but she's all good with that. So he's thinking about today and he's not thinking about the final, which I quite like. But Big T says she doesn't think Cory and Nelson want to run a final with her. Sorry, with him. They probably don't want to run a final with her either. But they, I don't mean that in a mean way. I was just trying to cover the mistake that I made. But yeah, they say Cory and Nelson don't want to run a final with him. I think they don't want to run a final with anyone but each other. And then get Hunter to come in late and then run it with him because TYB.
They'd probably be okay with Josh. I mean, Logan's a threat so far in this game. Have we seen him be bad at anything except for closing his mouth when he's underwater?
That was like his kryptonite for hotness.
Like, Lauren, if Cory, Nelson, and Logan were in a final, who's winning?
Oh man, that is so tough because I've never seen Logan. Oh,
I couldn't take my eyes off him.
I think Cory's pulling it out just because he has the most finals experience. That's the best thing I've got.
Nelson's beating Cory in a final.
Yeah, and Cory and Nelson can't do puzzles. I think Logan's smarter than them both.
Oh, good point.
And that's where the only way Cory and Nelson are winning a final is if they have a great female partner. Which makes it weird they're not trying to protect Ashley, actually.
I was going to say, like Ashley.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ashley would plug that gap in their game. Or they're against someone worse at puzzles than them.
Which is each other.
A toddler.
But hold on, here's another one, okay? Between Logan and Joss, Lauren, who's hotter?
Oh, Joss.
Okay, yeah. Let's move on. The next morning, the agents head down to meet TJ. Lauren, I'm not happy with you, at the mission. So let's head down there ourselves and find out exactly what's in store. So, Bombshell Battle. There's a crater filled with mud and different color bombs, aka footballs, not American footballs. One partner at a time goes down to the pit to collect a colored bomb. Once you've got 4, you then race down to grab a silver bomb, but there aren't enough silver bombs for everyone. So you basically have to fight for it. If you get it, you head to the next round. There's 3 rounds. Last team standing with the silver bomb becomes the agency. Power couple. Did this not remind you of a mixture between that one on Vendettas?
Yeah, second challenge, right? Power of where Bananas, Kyle, and someone else get the tribunal. And
the sun had absolutely dried up one side of the pit. And also the one on War of the Worlds 1, where...
2. I know what you're talking about.
Is it 2?
Yeah, 2.
No,
where UK win.
I'm thinking of a different one. The one on War of the Worlds 1, where Zach threw the ball to Wes.
Yeah, also that.
Oh, that is one, yeah.
It felt like a mix of that, but also it had moments of rugby in it as well. George, over to you. What did you think of this?
Fucking loved this challenge. Finally, something
I think George.
Well, okay, agreed. Yes, I love rugby. But everyone having to go at once, brilliant. I'm tired of watching people go sequentially when you don't know if the results are right. Purely physical, actually physical and a bit of strategy. Brilliant. There is a monster tackle from Cory in here. It is like legitimately one of the perfect hits I've ever seen. Bit high, would have got them sent off in rugby, but he just folds Josh like a deck chair. I really like this. But also, the one bit I was confused, the easy strategy here, right, is you chuck every ball to your partner. Why did only one person do it in the first round? How dumb are these people?
Really fucking dumb.
Okay. Now
Lauren, what did you think of this?
I got excitable there.
I think production definitely put this challenge where they did for a reason. Now that the vets have to show their cards, perfect challenge to make people show their cards. So I liked it just for the placement in the season.
Do you feel like potentially they might have had a different challenge in mind, and then everything happened with Priscilla, and then they went, now's the time to detonate the bomb?
I definitely think it's possible. That looked like a pretty easy one to set up. So it's a easy one to pull at last minute.
Yeah, I know where you can get a mud pit. Just give me a call. So round one, all of them went for it, but there were only 5 silver balls, and they were collected by Devon and Amber, Ed and Ashley, Emmanuel and Casey, Nelly T and Biggie T, and Logan and Nanny. So they advanced to the next round. But you know who wasn't happy? He's now teleported into the pit. Bloody Josh. Everyone ganged up on him because he thought they were playing patty cake.
He's not happy because he got felled like a tree. Cory legitimately snaps him in half. It's brilliant.
Yeah, but there's no rules. You can do what you want.
Yeah, I was complimenting Cory's tackle. That sounds weird.
Did Cory also choke him, though? I know I saw some choking going on.
There was no choking rules from what we saw.
Thank God Lolo wasn't in this challenge. She would have thrown an absolute fit.
Oh my God. I forgot she was on the show. She's an athlete.
Right. Okay, but point here though. Do you think some of the vets here, like, I was surprised CT didn't do better in this one. I was a bit surprised. I'm shocked by how awful Jeremiah was, to be fair. And he should have been going for a win. He should have been ideal at this. But was everyone trying their hardest in this for you guys? Or did some people just think they were safe and didn't want to be the first one to throw people in?
I'll hand that one to Loza.
I think just what you said about CT, I don't think he was trying. If he had tried, he would have won. I mean, there's no way around it. The only people who could have beaten CT were probably Fessy, and Fessy's gone.
Do you think without the gold skull twist, actually CT can just skate by to a final? Because everyone doesn't want to go against him in elimination.
Someone's going to have to be brave. I think the problem is Devon and CT are friends. I think Devon is wise enough to know he needs to take that shot. I think Josh also knows he needs to take that shot. Kyle has been screwed over by CT 3 times. He might take the shot, but
he gets screwed over every season.
I know.
And then every season he's in an alliance with CT, then gets screwed over, then gets back in with him next season, then gets screwed over, and then acts like it's all a surprise.
Yeah, I know. But the problem is, like, who objectively is taking CT out? The only way is if you make CT a house vote and then you send in the best possible person to take it out. Unfortunately, the best possible person to take CT out is Devon in a puzzle, but I think CT would beat him. To weigh him down with a shit partner and see if they go home there, that's potential. Someone is going to have to take this shot at some point. Could be Cory, to be fair, actually.
Do you know what I will say, though? A lot of these eliminations, they're ones where CT is beatable. There's not been that many, like, headbangers. Obviously, we had Not Hallbrawl, but that was the girls.
But he's so good at puzzles.
Yeah, but is his partner so good at getting a magnetic fishing line? And do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these have been chance.
Yeah,
I'm wondering why they haven't been sending like rookies in to try to take him out. I mean, it's a long shot, but it can happen. I mean, Jay did it.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
When you said that, I thought of the Jay that used to go out with Jenna. I was like, did he?
If you'd replaced CT with Curls' partner in that one, he would have gone home.
That's why
But
I just get rid of him while you can. While if you see something that's not a definite headbanger, just try it.
I think Jeremiah would give him a good go in a headbanger.
Well, we'll come to that at the end of the episode, won't we? That'll age. Spoilers. I'm pretty sure if people have listened to this, are listening to this, they've definitely watched this week's show. Can you imagine if you didn't watch the challenge, real episodes, but you just listened to us for some reason?
My brother does.
That is classic Ed.
Doesn't watch, he actually just really enjoys the podcast.
Does Abigail listen to the podcast, Lauren?
Oh no, unfortunately, I can recommend it though. I've gotten a few friends who do watch the challenge to listen to it.
Are any of them by any chance from Nicaragua? Because I'm still trying to work out who that is.
Sorry, not that friend.
If they've stopped listening after my job of hosting last week, I don't blame them.
What did you think, Lauren, of the kind of Josh Cory thing? I mean, they all have to do these little pieces to camera, and Josh was doing his piece to camera like the producer asked him to, and then Cory just gets annoyed because Josh is answering the questions that he's being asked by the producers.
I think they're both playing up the drama because that's what they know how to do. I could see Josh being upset about the choking though. So that would have pissed me off. But I mean, yeah, I think they're all just playing it up. How many shows has Josh been on now? And then you've got Cory, who's got a whole TV show to himself. They know what to do for the cameras.
And if Josh is upset about the choking, if he wants to give Lolo Jones a call, I'm sure they can help each other through it. I think, big challenge choking helpline. Also, just one little note from that was the moment that Cory, he played his hand, in my opinion, when he threw the ball kind of Zach West style to Jeremiah. That was, in my opinion, I know he was trying to get Jeremiah to win if he knew he couldn't, but he's shown his cards there. That was a huge mistake.
It's a really poor strategy move. Jeremiah really struggled in the mud. I don't think he's winning. So at that point, take the loss and see if you can just go under the radar for the rest of the episode.
I don't really understand his strategy of working with all these rookies in the first place. I mean, he's no Wes, he seems like he's trying to follow that strategy, but there's zero chance he can execute it in time.
God, Wes would have been good on this. Wes would have made this season so good.
Definitely.
Because he actually might have banded together the rookies, and that would have been fantastic.
He would have paired up with Big T, and they would have ran the rookies together.
Oh, that would have been wonderful. God, I feel cheated.
Wes is fucking ripped at the moment as well.
Yeah.
Here is a question I'm going to ask you, Lauren, because when we did our pre-season show, which you were on with Brian and Ryan, because George had work, so we recorded it across about 8 different days, and then pieced it all together. One of the things that we were all quite excited about was, the potential of Carl and Amanda. Is all I've got to say. I've been a bit disappointed with the devil's favorite demon and heaven's favorite.
I know, she's too chill now. I miss my fiery Amanda. She's just been mostly just there to calm Ashley down.
And Kyle's just been there because he's got a child on the way and just, needs to pick up that paycheck, just like Cory and Tony.
I disagree.
Guess being a parent changes you.
I wasn't even a parent yet. It was just a little fetus at the time.
I think they're losing on purpose.
Whoa! Hello.
Amanda's not been quiet. She's been very, very catty in confessionals and quite loud in a couple of deliberations. So still getting that side of her. Kyle and Amanda are so safe because of the amount of connections they've got. They don't need to start trying until about the 75% through the season mark. If they start winning loads, which they have the potential to do, I think they're a pretty well-balanced pair and they both played the game, that focuses everyone's attention on them. They have got absolutely no incentive to win.
So they're purposely looking shit.
Well, I don't think they're purposely looking shit, but I don't think they care enough to really go for it.
But there's that danger that people will split them up.
They probably don't care either. They're both like 2 of the top level popular people in here. I think they're so comfortable they'll have to start playing the game when there's about 14, 12 people left, when it gets right down to the wire.
Well, I mean, we're not quite down to the wire in this elimination because we got another round and then the final round. And this second round, the people that advanced, Logan and Nanny, Ed and Ashley, and Nelly T and Biggie T. So we've got Ed and Ashley, who are now in the final round. Ashley obviously is feeling like her head's on the line. She's a champ. She's had this issue with Priscilla. And we get to the final, and it comes down to that silver ball, and 3 guys are fighting it out. And Logan pulls a big brother. And Lauren, you know what I mean there. He's cut a deal. Did you expect them to take this deal?
I was surprised he kind of, you know, was smart enough in the moment to make it. So I was just shocked watching the whole thing.
Brains and beauty, that's what he's got.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll have to switch from Joss to Logan.
No, don't fucking dare. Do you guys know how knackering what they were doing would be though? Like,
yeah, I do it all the time.
They would be knackered here. I think that makes it easier to cut the deal. I'm very disappointed Nelson didn't try, because how many missions has he lost in a row now?
53.
Little too high.
47.
I thought I read it was 43.
Yeah, Lauren is on the money. But yeah, I really wanted this to be his, like, at the end of the streak, but no. I was like, Nelson, what are you doing? But the thing is, I suppose, by this point... Wait, sorry, that's the point. Does Logan tell Ed to go play defense? That's what I want to talk about here.
So I felt like he did. So I actually think Nelson did a very clever thing, because I essentially feel like they both agreed to the deal. But then what Nelson did was he did the kind of back suplex on Ed to allow Logan to get free, which almost made it seem like he was the one that allowed Logan to win, even though they both kind of agreed to the deal.
Do you think, no, whoever had the ball in the strongest position last bit is making that deal?
Yeah,
I think there's no scenario, because also I think the water was a bit too deep on this challenge. You need a bit of agility to be able to get around people. So like in the one you love, Levi, the War of the Worlds 1-1, when Theo blitzes past people, that's only because the water's shallow enough that he can run through it.
And he has 6-foot legs.
Yeah, good point, actually. I think I would barely come up to his knee.
He's a gazelle.
I'd really like to meet Theo. He's hilarious. But yeah, I think that was the one design flaw with this challenge. But by not having the ability to use agility, no one could get around anyone else for the end. So it had to end with a deal, is what I'm thinking here.
So Lauren, deal or no deal?
Deal. I'm taking the deal.
Would you have offered the deal? Let's set the scene, Lauren.
Okay, yeah, set it up.
You're in the mud pit. You're clinging on to the silver ball. You've got, should we go for Casey? Because she's strong. You can pick the other one, George.
Amber.
You got Casey, who's strong. Amber, who used to play rugby. They're on top of you. They're trying to get the ball off you. Would you turn to them and say, girls, you let me go. You're safe?
As a rookie or as a vet?
You're Logan, so you're a rookie. Well, you're Lauren, but you're a rookie because you're paralleling the situation.
Yeah, then I would make the deal. I mean, as a rookie in that game, anything you can do to get ahead, who knows? That deal might save me for 2 more weeks than I would have been there in the first place. As a vet, I don't know what the point of the deal would be at this point.
Here's the next option, Lauren. Priscilla has the ball. Okay, you and Bettina, because Bettina and Ed are rookies, and you would be the vet in the role of Nelson, are offered the deal by Priscilla. Do you take the deal? Because there's still a risk, even though she says she won't vote you in, there's still a risk that people go, oh, hold on, Lauren's taking deals. I'm going to vote her into elimination. God, this is the most the word Lauren has been used in this season of the challenge, isn't it? Thank you.
I don't think I'd take the deal. I think I'd try to fight for the win.
And this is why we love you, Lauren, because you go for the win. And, you know, Logan got the win. And do you know who else got the win? George's favorite person, Nanny.
Yeah, go Nanny.
That's not what you were saying last season.
I think one of my favorite parts of this episode was when Nani said, I finally did something in the challenge. I've done nothing.
I thought George and all the stuff he said about her last year and how she was useless and never did anything. And I was like, well, she's done something now, George. You can stop that negative attitude, stop being such a negative nanny. But yeah, so Nanny says she owes Nelson one, which is where I'm thinking of this whole Nelson doing that back suplex makes it seem like he gave it to them as opposed to a double deal.
I see. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And Ashley's upset. She's sick of beep, 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 third place, beep, beep, beep. She's not a very dignified loser.
She's not, and I thought this throughout the whole episode is it almost her attitude, like she seems a little depressed, a little too paranoid. It reminds me of almost how she was on Dirty 30 when she ended up leaving because she was kind of freaking out. So took a couple, one season off? You count Dirty 30, 2 seasons off? I think she needs a couple season break. It's going to lower her threat level. I think she needs to take off a couple seasons, come back, and then maybe she'll get her third win.
As well, when she left on Dirty 30. Well, when she left on Dirty 30, she'd been doing the spin-offs as well, hadn't she? So she's just been going back to back.
Right.
I think she'd also had a family member died. I think it was like a perfect storm of like shit happening.
Right.
I thought that was after Dirty 30 that happened. I thought that was the spin-off season after Dirty 30, but I don't know how they filmed those ones.
It was Champs, then Dirty 30 in terms of chronological filming.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was Champs versus Pros, which wasn't the one where her dad died. Then, okay. Well, there we go. That makes a lot of sense. I agree with you. I don't think from what we've seen this season, to be honest, I saw it a little bit last season. I don't think it's the best environment for her at the moment. And I think one of the things that we noticed about her, especially some of the things that she said on the reunion last season, was about how she sees all these people as real friends. And I feel like when she goes into the game, she can't take the real relationships away from what they're doing. And I know we'll probably talk about that, I'm guessing, in deliberation. But yeah, I just think it's a bit sad to see someone kind of going through that on TV.
Wish Ashley would come on the pod. I really like her.
I like her. I think she's wears her heart on her sleeve. I think she's a really stand-up girl. And like I say, I think she really loves playing the game. She obviously loves money. And I think she really loves the people that she's met on the show. And I think when she goes in and the game starts happening, it's hard for her to kind of snap into game mode, if that makes sense.
I don't know if you're reading a bit too much. She laughs and jokes with Amber about being in this situation later. She always is quite high strung in terms of just being emotional anyway. That's what she's like at reunions. It's what she's like on the show. I don't want Ashley to take a season off. I really like her being on the show.
I definitely don't want her to take a season off.
But it might be better for her. It's like we didn't have Amanda for a couple of years, and now she's back. We're appreciating her a bit more. Maybe we need that with Ashley, or Ashley needs that. A couple of seasons off, she comes back, everyone starts appreciating her a bit more. And like Lauren says, people forget. Sorry, I keep interrupting. People forget that she's as big a threat because we might get a couple of more female winners during that time.
Yeah, you've taken 1 week off hosting and you've become really rude.
Well, I got so used last week to just being allowed to talk as much as I want.
It's great, isn't it?
While you slowly crumbled inside.
Yeah, I hated every second of it. Let's see what happens. I'm willing to withhold judgment on that for a couple of episodes with Ashley.
Okay, well, Lauren, here is a big question for you. What did you think of that elimination? It wasn't an elimination. I've written the wrong thing on the running order. What did you think of that mission?
I like the mission. I like the ones where they're all, and it's
buddy and naked.
They're fighting each other. It's all of them at once. Those are the more exciting ones.
And did you like the way that they got eliminated in each round?
Yeah, I think I did. I'm thinking.
You think away. It's on video as well. The audio listeners, they won't appreciate the thinking time.
Best quick one. Best alien for season? I think so.
Could very well be. I'm thinking
You're
about the
still
round.
thinking?
I kind of wish they had battled it out to the end with all of them. Honestly, I think maybe
Battle to the death with one silver ball.
It would have been even more intense.
Someone's getting drowned if you do that.
I like Lauren's idea. Here's a question. Do we feel that the pyro that was used in this one was the one that they should have used in the last one when they were meant to be detonating a bomb and not squirting a water pistol?
That was ridiculous. You have missed quite an entertaining point of this one, though.
Sorry.
It's when Amber takes out Casey and just sits on her and goes, "Sorry, Nanny, I'm straddling your girlfriend."
I'll be honest, when I wrote the running order, I just skipped the elimination and the mission details, and I just put discussion of mission.
I think that line was my favorite line from Amber I've seen on this show. That was funny.
Yeah, agreed. I found that hilarious. Also,
no. The best line, the funniest line from Amber on this show isn't her name Berna?
Yeah, I do like that one. But so the thing is, Amber's like physical prowess. We've only seen her go against Amber and Big T in a hall brawl. I don't really remember how she did on Roadkill last season. I don't think she embarrassed herself, but I don't think she was amazing.
What was Roadkill?
The on top of the truck one where Liv and Nicole dislocate their shoulders.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, I would prefer that static and a wide angle lens though, and just let.
Yeah, it was shot really badly. That was let's use a drone.
Fucking love drones. But I put that taking down Casey, because Casey had the ball originally, and I think Amber takes her down and then pins her. It was kind of the most like it showed Amber as a better physical threat than I thought she was, to be fair. Because she's really slight. She's tall, but she's not got much weight behind her. Casey trains muscles, so go Amber.
She used to play rugby though, remember?
Yeah.
You had a long chat about that when my internet went down when we interviewed her.
Yeah, I was just thinking it'd be interesting to see Casey and Amber in an elimination.
Annoyingly, as much as I adore Amber, I think Casey's taking that.
I think it depends on what the elimination is.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant if it was physical.
Oh, physical? Yeah, I think Casey takes it, but something that's a mix, I think, would be interesting to see them in.
God, okay, good endurance.
Here's a big question about this mission. Out of the three of us, who would most likely win this mission? I am going to hold my hand up and nominate George as the winner of this mission. Lauren, who would you like to go for?
Oh, man, it's a tough one.
I mean, it's not a tough one, is it?
I guess it is George. Yeah, I'll have to say the same.
I'm not allowed to tackle females. Sorry, it's in the rugby code.
Oh, in which case, I am changing my vote to Lauren.
Lauren would walk it. I'd just be like drowning you, going, "Stay away from my mother," while Lauren walks the ball into the net.
And then I'd be like, "But she loves me."
You can't keep true love apart.
Yeah. I mean, George, didn't you partake in this mission a few weeks ago when you did your Tough Mudder?
Oh, yeah, but that had electric shocks as well. And that's so much. That's how to improve this elimination. You have random wires.
Electric eels.
Oh, they also have that challenge in Tough Mudder. It's really painful. You have to army crawl through water, and if you come too far out of the water, you get pinged in the back, and it just makes you spasm.
That's pretty fucking impressive, to be honest. Speaking of impressive, who impressed you guys?
I love you. Lauren, go first. I've chatted a lot of shit about this mission.
Oh, who impressed me? You know, I was impressed with Big T. I mean, was it really, were the females all going at the same pace? I mean, she was obviously keeping up with them at least.
Really cool.
She did a good job.
Yeah.
Did Biggie T. Okay, that's the end of that. Who disappointed you?
The most impressive thing in this is it wasn't as great a physical contest because the mud slowed everything down. The best hit in this is Cory on Josh. The most interesting thing is Logan, Nelson, and Ed. And Yeah, all of that. They've all clearly got much better stamina than I thought as well, which was actually a bit of a doubt I had about Logan after his elimination with Gabbo.
Can I say honourable mention Casey, who was the first person to come up with the idea of run to the middle, get all your balls and chuck them to the edge?
I was going to say Amber for taking out Casey, but yeah, also good point. No, hold on. Is it Casey?
Yeah, it was Casey. And then Nanny later on said, let's help each other.
But no, in the confessional, the one who says we're playing smarter, not harder. Was that Casey and Emmanuel?
Yeah.
Oh, also, Emmanuel impressed me in this, actually, because
he impresses me every week.
Yeah, but he just leaps off the side of the pit, whereas everyone else runs in a bit gingerly. He's got absolutely no fear and really good balance. That was quite cool.
Well, we all know that he can balance shreddies on his head.
That is true. Levi, who looked best in their outfit?
CT. George said...
You look like you have thoughts there.
For those of you on the audio of the podcast, Lauren is thinking.
You guys are giving me a lot of tough questions today. I'm going to say Logan looked the best.
Of course you are.
Would Josh have looked better?
He probably would look better, yes.
You're better than this, Lauren. You're better than this. Now, the good news is I don't have to edit in a clip here because it was pretty obvious who won, so we don't need to go down to TJ. But after the mission, they went back to the house, and Josh has now teleported into Ashley and Amanda's bedroom, the creep, and he's having a conversation saying that he's been having conversations with people to get Cory voted in, and they need 2 more votes, so he's going to go talk to Devon and Tori. Josh is doing work this episode. Those little legs are just scurrying along.
I think a couple of episodes, no, is it on the after show a bit ago? Devon calls Josh one of the best social players of all time. I think that is hyperbole, but he is doing, it's quite impressive what he's doing this episode.
I think he's figured out this is his 3rd, 4th challenge now. I think he's figured out that this is the only way he's going to make a final. It's a great social game.
Can he win a final though, Lauren?
What?
Can he win a final?
Oh, no.
Oh, just be honest. I was going to say, just be honest. Don't add dramatic effect.
Josh can win a final, but he needs to use his social game to get rid of people first, and that's why I think are we 10 episodes in now or 9?
9.
So of every episode 100. So far, I like this season. So of every, I know you're really, really lackluster in how much effort you're putting into the pod so far. But
excuse me, 8 hours every night, once a week.
Just mainly annoyed about you hitting on my mum.
You offered her up.
So I think the most interesting conversation this entire season is when Devon and Josh are talking to each other and say, we want to go to a final together because that's the only way we'll win. And one, great self-awareness, absolutely hilarious. But 2, they're starting to look like they've got the tools to potentially pull that off. And then the final becomes Battle of the Shithouses, and it's quite funny.
Well, I think the problem that Josh has here is that Ashley is she's so emotional at this point because she didn't win the mission, and she feels like Tori hates her, basically. And she's really freaking out. She's like, tells Josh he's not talking logically. She says it's not just the girls that want her out, it's the boys that want her out too. I actually think the boys want her out more than the girls want her out, and I don't know why.
Why does she think why does she think Tori doesn't want her there? It's because she's a frat.
Yeah, probably. I think
have we seen anything from sorry, go on, Levi.
Well, they weren't on the same side in War of the Worlds 2, were they?
No.
Yeah, but Tori hated other people way more than Ashley in that.
Yeah, but I also just think like Ashley is a threat in finals. If you get her out earlier before the final, you don't need to worry about the threat of Ashley in a final.
So why do you think the guys want her out more? Lauren?
I don't think the guys actually do want her out. I think she was being paranoid.
Yeah, Levi, why
the guys would love to run a final with her.
Yeah, I'm with Lauren on that. Levi, why do you think they want her out?
I just write stuff as I watch the episode that I see, and I just read it out to you guys and ask you questions. I don't have an opinion. Not this week. Last week, too many opinions. I don't think the guys want her out. I just wrote it down because Ashley said it. That's how the running order works, George. You know this. You did it last week.
I think they showed a clip of Amanda just staring at her like she's crazy, and I think that is the right opinion.
They all got the mud off pretty quick. I wonder how many showers there are in that house.
I want to ask you guys something, like with the Tory thing. I couldn't figure out multiple times this episode with Ashley's statement, and then I saw Tory sitting and scheming with like Devin and I think Kyle and Cory.
Yes.
I can't figure out who Tory is really working with now.
I think she's working out who's got the numbers, and then she's going to slot in.
Yeah. Floating.
See, that's dangerous though, because like you're then instantly the bottom of someone else's alliance, aren't you?
No, because she's trying to slot in with the guys, and she knows this whole guys want to take a strong girl to the final thing, and a lot of the guys do perceive her as a strong player. So actually, it's the opposite of dangerous. It's not dangerous. Long week, guys. It's been a long week.
Oh my god, that was fucking brilliant. If I was Cory or Nelson, I'd much rather have Ashley than Tory. Like significantly more.
Why?
Yeah, George,
Tory is not great at puzzles. Ashley is, and I think Ashley is a significantly more complete player than Tory. I think Tory's only got her in cardio and strength. And strength isn't overwhelmingly helpful in a final, actually.
What do you two think Ashley's final weakness is? Or do you not think she has any? Do you think maybe temperament? Guys, thinking is not great for an audio pod.
I was going to say, like, if you're talking about getting to the finals, temperament's our biggest weakness, but I've never seen her really show too much of a temperament in a final. She keeps it together in a final.
Warthos too. She's, apart from Cam and Leroy, probably the best person on that team in terms of keeping focus. Everyone else.
Well, that was a shit house of a final for the Americans, wasn't it?
Everyone else had an absolute car crash there. Also, I don't think that is offense to Lauren, because three of the best performing Brits were American.
Yeah, 3 were American. The others were Rogan, and I don't know who the other one was.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
I think it was Kylie Minogue. Do Americans know who she is? Was that a good enough reference?
Yes, we know who Kylie Minogue is.
Okay, just checking.
I've seen her live. She's absolutely wonderful.
She's very small.
She'll type Levi.
No, but she's very small. She's like 3'1" or something.
Fuck off. Moving on. It's a ridiculous thing.
No, side note though, actually, what I will say is I've always found Danny Minogue more attractive than Kylie Minogue. But
sure
the
accolade they've both been waiting in their illustrious
career.
But
the thing is, but also no, I think they both make some lovely music for clubbing, and unfortunately, the club is closed for refurbishment, so they have a patio party instead. They all dance a bit weirdly. Now, there is an interesting moment actually in the weird dancing. CT and Big T doing a bit of dancing together. The rift has been healed.
Do you think they're numbers for each other this season?
I don't know. I don't really understand this season anymore.
I don't think so.
No, I think what we said last week as well, and I kind of stand by it, is yes, Big T's adorable, but I actually understand CT's decision from last year. You run a final with her, you're not winning. And there'll become a point in the game where she has to go because no guy will want to run a final with her, which is sad. But actually, better performance this daily, but it's still the fact that she couldn't run a quarter of a mile. It means that there's no chance she's going to do well in the final.
Do you know who else is adorable? Not in your mind, George, but for the rest of us, Nanny. And she is having a chat with my girl, Priscilla. And it was a bit weird because it did look like Nanny was trying to kiss her at some point. She obviously wasn't. I think when Nanny's drunk, she just looks at everyone with loving eyes. But she tells her that she would have made the same power move, not to worry, I'm not coming for you. And Priscilla says she respects Nanny, she likes Nanny. She doesn't know if she can trust Nanny. Can you trust Nanny, Lauren?
Not if I'm a rookie.
Oh, George, I'm not even going to ask you because you hate her so much. You'll go on some tirade.
Yeah, too. We don't have enough time left in the pod. It's already late.
Why wouldn't you trust her if you were a rookie, like Matt?
Oh, I mean, so Nani is, I wouldn't be surprised if she came up with this Bet Alliance idea. She, even in her older seasons of the show, before she took that big hiatus, I feel like she was definitely one of the proponents of, rookies going first. She's one of those older school vets.
Also, what did Nani do on her first season back? She chucked CT in as soon as she could.
Was that our first season back?
One was her first season back.
She chucked CT in?
Yeah. And her confession is he skates the final every time. Nani's not scared to make a big play.
No, she's not. I mean, if I was George, I'd be saying something like, well, the thing is, Nani always feels really entitled. But obviously, I'm not George, so I wouldn't say that.
You wish.
But, she's having this conversation with Priscilla. I think it's interesting because I think what we saw before isn't Priscilla in the TYB alliance and Nani's in the Big Brother alliance. Do you feel like at these three, what did we call them? Packs?
Gaggles.
These three alliance gaggles, they're trying to get a combination too. So everyone's kind of working hard. So it's almost like two of them are going to gang up to get rid of one of them and then they start a war together.
Is Priscilla firmly in the Young Buck one though?
Yeah, she was with Nelson for ages, remember? And there's all this stuff about Cory know that she was going to, kick up the fuss and break up the team and start the bloodbath.
Lauren, who do you see Priscilla voting with? Because to me, it's just Survivor.
I see her voting with TYB, Cory's crew. But I mean, I think Nani said that to her because, she is good politically. She knows this game well enough to know that she should do something while she's in power. I think she's just trying to get as many people on her side if there's ever a chance that she is up for elimination. Maybe it's that one swing vote from Priscilla that makes the difference if she's up against somebody else like a Cory or an Ashley.
I like Priscilla.
I know, buddy. You were very ahead of the curve there. It was a very, very good opinion from you that's aged well, much like yourself.
Stop it! I'm not that old. I'm so old. It's really upsetting. But do you know who is not only young but young at heart? Only young Edward from the challenge, or Agent Ed, as he likes to call himself. So he's having a chat with our mate Amber. He thinks that they're in a good spot, and when he says they, he means him and his partner, who I've forgotten. Who's he with?
Ashley, right? Ed and Ashley?
Don't know. They all change every week, don't they? Is he with Ashley?
It's Ed and Ashley.
It is Ashley. Yes, it is Ashley. I knew that. Just checking you guys knew. So yeah, he thinks they're in a good spot. He thinks they're in a good spot. He's obviously not listening to what's going on in the house. And Amber says, would you want to go in? And he's like, well, no, but not terrible. I like Ed. He doesn't mind if he gets thrown in. He's just happy to play there. He's happy to be there.
I agree. He's a breath of fresh air for sure.
You throw a stick, he will run after
it. Also, I don't think Ed's got many eliminations he'd be afraid of.
I just think he's happy
smart.
to be.
He's fucking built. No, he's got the capabilities to win any elimination. He's actually who I'd be chucking against CT if I could.
No, the height differential is massive.
Yeah, but take a shot with Ed. He's probably smart enough that he could beat him on a puzzle. He was an engineer, and at the end of the day, you've chucked in they're also in the same alliance. So to me, that's what Big Brother do.
They're in Devon and his crew, aren't they? Devon and his crew.
That also makes Ed's first season go from good because he's won a mission and an elimination to fucking all time if he takes out CT and then goes on to win.
Do you feel like Devon and his crew have banded together because they like drinking?
Yes, absolutely.
Devon, Kyle, Ed, and CT.
I think that's very obvious.
That's the team we all want to be in as well, right?
100%.
Yeah, you just need Tony in there, and then you've got the biggest drink. And then actually, Ashley should hang out with them because she's also an all-time drinker.
I missed her. Do you think Tony will ever come back?
I've heard it's a custody problem, but it sounds like that's
Allegedly.
getting sorted. And he's fucking big now. Like
He has. He's had some real issues with the hurricane that's happened where he lives. Like it destroyed his house, and then something's happened to Alyssa's hand as well. Like her hand got absolutely massacred by it. So obviously, we hope that she's okay. Who's got the police outside?
Probably me.
Yeah, classic George. Anyway, so Amber says, would you want to go in? He's like, I don't mind. As long as you throw a tennis ball, I'll go for it. But he's a little bit cheeky because he says, if I do go in, I'll pick Casey because she's the best. He is a smart cookie, is Ed, isn't he? He also knows it's a map of the world. I know.
Good. That was a good opening episode, Ben.
Do you know what I love about Ed as well? He went on the circle with his mum. I feel that's something you would do, George.
Yeah, to be fair, my mum is great.
I can't wait
And
to meet
she'll
her.
find out, Levi.
I've just realised one thing that you told me, that Ed listens to all of our podcasts this season.
Yeah, mate, you're fucked. He's literally going to kill you.
Shit. Ed, these have all
He's
been just like...
Ed got
nice
knocked
jokes.
out in the first round of a boxing match, didn't realise and finished the entire thing and fought to a draw with the person who'd been boxing for 4 years and he tried it for 8 weeks. Be careful, Levi. God, my brother will be good on a
I
challenge.
would never get into a fight with your brother. I love all the Hobbs. I'd be in Hobbs and their crew.
Now I'm thinking me, Mum and Ed on the challenge bloodlines. It'd be adorable.
You know, Ed, the challenger Ed has a brother that was on the circle too. They'd be great on Bloodlines.
Were they on the same season?
Yeah,
he was on the next season.
He's
Oh my
also
God.
like,
Could you imagine?
6'4",
He's big, yeah. He'd be great.
Hold on. Imagine this. Challenge Bloodlines. Circle Ed and Circle Ed's brother. Paulie and Cody. Kyle and Cal.
Yeah, cow.
Woo! George and Ed Hobbs. Am I allowed to say your surname? I think we said it about 12 times now.
My address is.
Is it actually?
Address? Yeah, it's my actual address.
Do you want me to edit that out?
Nah, send beer and nudes.
No, genuinely.
nudes.
You genuinely want me to edit that out?
Don't care.
Okay, he's had a few too many cocktails. Anyway, so Ashley comes over. She bonds with Amber because champs love champs. And Amber basically said, look, I kind of feel like no one's talking to me. I was just saying to Ed how nice it is that he's got my back. And Ashley says, look, we're the Champs Club. And Amber doesn't like that there's a target on her back. She feels like all her friends are trying to get her out. And Ed's just there smiling like a little puppy. He's a nice guy, Ed. I feel like Ed would be like the best friend ever.
Yeah. I don't think that's
After
the
you,
situation.
George, you're the best friend ever. He'd be second.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I don't think that's the situation Ed wouldn't improve.
Sorry.
You're going to be the best dad ever, Levi. Oh, wait, no, TJ's my dad. You can be my fun uncle.
Uncle.
Yeah, this was just nice. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. There was so much other good shit in this episode, but Club Night really bores me. I mean, it was the least impactful bit.
Wasn't even a proper club night, was it?
Nah. Should we skip to the next morning?
No, because we have a very important thing to talk about, which is Nanny telling Logan how proud she is of them. And then she says they need to use their power wisely. This is the moment we get a little bit of insight into what they're going to do, George, which is why I typed it up and we're not going to gloss over it. Logan says he wants Cory and Bettina voted in. Oh, a couple of things. I think I texted you, George, when I was watching the episode saying that I noticed in this episode that Bettina is a natural blonde. Her blonde roots were coming through in this episode quite a lot, which I thought was really interesting. And actually, I became more and more attracted to her this episode, which was interesting. Still can't work out the accent. I know it's Swedish, but it sounds American. Anyway, Logan says he wants Cory and Bettina in, and he thinks the best option is to pick Jeremiah. I feel like you could throw Jeremiah in every week, and even if he comes back, he'll just be quite chill about it. And then he also said, let's put Amber in. And Nanny said she likes the idea, but not because she hates Amber, because she lost to her last year and doesn't think she can beat her in a final. And as we always say, we like when people are quite self-aware. And I thought that was really, one, self-aware of Nanny, and two, after all the stuff people have been saying the last few weeks about Amber, it was actually nice to hear someone say something nice about her. What do you think, Lauren? Team Nanny.
I agree. I mean, I think it's smart of Nani. Like I said before, I think that Nani is really smart politically. You know, this is a great move for her. She can't beat Amber in a final unless Amber has a terrible partner and she has a great one. And I think she said too that, you know, no matter what, somebody strong is going home if we end up with this. Either Cory's going home, who she's clearly not working with and is strong, could take out a male ally of hers, or Amber, who's a big threat.
George?
Completely agree. Also, game strategy move only, which is my favorite non-physical part about the challenge. And it does prove a point every while that Logan also really, really gets this game. He's not the most charismatic rookie, but he does clearly understand what's going on here. He knows.
Also, he's also really hot.
He also gets exactly what he wants. He wants. Oh, sorry, we'll get to that later.
You know what he wants? He wants a big T.
No, she wants him.
No, they both want each other. Can I just quickly ask, Kay? Because Lauren, you were there when Brian explained how the new hot guy thing works. Not only do you have to be hot, you have to do new hot guy things. Now, I feel like Emmanuel, you know, he's an acquired taste, but I'm sure a lot of girls like that, might have slightly overtaken Logan by being hot and also doing the new hot guy things this season. But I feel like in this episode, Logan is doing a few new hot guy things here and starting to kind of get back up to the new hot guy. What do you think?
I kind of think the opposite. I think Emmanuel is like, he's just kind of a big flirt, you know, a guy who's too big of a flirt. It's a little bit of a downgrade for me. So I kind of prefer the quieter, more mysterious one.
Watch Levi say 2 words in the rest of his pod now. Also, nothing Logan has done this episode is new hot guy material. He's shown great strategy, but new hot guy is Cory when he starts and Kyle when he starts.
You hate Logan so much; it's just upsetting.
I find him a bit of a charisma vacuum. I'm not gonna lie.
I know why you hate him, because he's paired with Nanny and you hate Nanny. Who's more of a charisma vacuum, Logan or Casey?
Casey.
Yeah, definitely Casey. At least Logan occasionally says things that I remember.
Yeah. Do you know what happened the next morning, though? 4 people that aren't charisma vacuums, Cory, Nelson, Big T, and Priscilla, they're talking in the bedroom.
That's a charismatic foursome, to be fair.
TYB and the Brit Girls. That's what you got there.
Literally sounds like a band's shitty comeback talk.
You could call them TY Brits. Anyway, TY Brits are in the bedroom, and Cory, I think, has now realised he is very close to getting voted in, and he tells them that they need to get the votes on Ashley. And I think he's gone to the right people for this, because we know that Big T is the social butterfly, and she could help him out here. Good move, bad move, too much moving. Should Big T be on the move? Get some votes in?
Good move, but not a move that I think is strong enough to work. I think it's probably his best play that he had, but I don't know. I don't see those two having enough pull in the house.
I did look at this episode. I was like, how did Cory end up on the bottom of the barrel?
Josh, he started the momentum for this very, very early, and then
with the teleporting.
Yes, with the teleporting. But then Cory had no choice but to try and get an ally to win power couple, which is so he gave the ball to Jeremiah, and that gave everyone more ammo. But this all started with Josh and a bit of Ashley. But
because Josh is just going around like grassing him up to everyone.
Well, Josh outplayed him socially here. Cory should have been putting in work way earlier.
And
Or am
he
I
made,
massively?
he made the blunder in the elimination. He threw the ball to Jeremiah. Cory
Yeah,
got
It was
himself-
you mean the mission? You mean the mission? See, two of us made that
right.
mistake.
Mission.
George, no. Great minds, great minds. George, Mr. Oh, it's a mission. It was an elimination mission. But on the grass, the Devon and his crew sitting down talking. CT's like, "Why, Devon, would you save Cory?" And Devon's like, "Listen, Cory will never have power because Bettina is useless." And will never win a daily. Now, I feel like at the end of this episode, he might have taken that back. But
Yeah.
CT says, I'm going to pick Cory and Bettina because they want to swing big and they want to protect the rookies and they're hurting the truce. And do you know who comes over? The millionaire. She joins them for the millionaire mini deliberation. And she tells Tori, look, I wouldn't mind running a final with you. I think it'd be close, but Tori, I think you'd beat me. She doesn't mean that. But what she does say is, do you know who we couldn't beat? And that's Amber B. Is she ever going to lose the B?
Probably not.
Is she like the only person that came in on a season with a letter as a surname and still has to keep it, even though the other person never comes back?
I can't think of another.
Do you remember that season there were 3 Johnnies and Johnny Riley got called Johnny Portland?
Yeah, I do actually. Wait, who was the third Johnny?
So there was Johnny Bananas,
Yeah.
there was Johnny Portland, and then there was the other one, John.
Oh, the comedian.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
actually
with the, big hair. Yeah.
He's actually hilarious. He has brilliant comics.
Who was he with? Simone.
Oh, I hated her.
Yeah. Because they were I think rivals because they had a short little thing on Are You the One on their season.
Well, they
Yeah,
exits.
It's very easy to become a rival on this show. Do you not
They
think?
actually did have a big blowout on their original season though. That was
Did she steal his pizza?
I think he broke her heart.
Do you know what's also heartbreaking?
Don't you lie on me. Don't you lie. Fuck off, Simone. Sorry. I hate that. That don't you lie on me thing is like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. I hate every second of it.
Oh, no, you know, the worst thing that I've ever heard was Angela. Was it Angela or Faith?
Oh, Faith.
I think that was Faith. You've mentioned that before, Levi. You do actually hate that.
I just don't know what it means.
I also don't care. You know what I do care about? Ashley being ready to politic.
Oh, yeah. This time she's politicking. She ain't politicking. And what she is saying is that Ashley is telling them Cory told Josh his numbers were Bettina, Priscilla, Jeremiah, and Nelson, aka the rookies, and Nelly T. I love that she had to add Nelson in there as if we didn't know that Cory was working with Nelson. But she says, look, Cory had a big hand in ending the Vets Alliance. And then Devon goes, whoa, this is the first time that Devon is hearing of this in Devon and his crew. But I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. I want to hear it in deliberation in front of everyone. Because if he's lying, he's going in. So let's head into nominations where Kyle shows the whitest teeth I've ever seen. No lie. During the mission, there was a moment where they had the wide shot on and Kyle smiled and I thought he was wearing a white gum shield.
Yeah.
And then when they did the close-up, I was like, fucking hell. Those veneers. Anyway, Logan starts by saying that he made a promise to Mr. Ed and Mr. Nelson. They are safe. They are completely safe. Because, and we all know this phrase, if you don't keep your promises, you are a piece of shit.
First time I've enjoyed Logan all season. Really likes that line.
Is that a hot guy move? I think it might be.
I think that might be the hottest thing anyone could ever say. You agree, George? You hate him so much. Do you know what my favorite thing about this deliberation was? Nominations. We called it nominations. Last season was deliberation. Do you know what else was last season? Wearing a black polo neck with a necklace chain around it. Because I feel like old Logan has decided that he's going to dress in last season's hot outfit. Is it weird that that was the first thing I thought of?
No, there was a lot of polo necks last season. It's perfectly valid.
It was all the polo necks. They all went for the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson look. But yeah, Nanny says, you know, we're going to stay quiet here. we're going to take the floor. Basically, Nanny is saying, here are the enzymes to start the eruption, and I'm just going to watch the shit happen. And as we always say, the best thing to do when you think that you're in trouble is to stay quiet. So Cory pipes up straight away. Absolute moron. And he says, look, I know I'm on the chopping block, but you know who else is on the chopping block? Ed and Ashley. And he says in 9 seasons, he's never made a sneaky deal. He's never backstabbed anyone. He's always kept his word, and he's never won a final. Did he say that?
No, I enjoyed that.
And then he does a confessional saying you can't trust Ashley after she stole the money from Hunter. And then we have the rarest of moments. I never thought we'd see it on the challenge again. I can't believe George hasn't mentioned it. I thought he would be excited. I thought the massive poll would be erected right now. We had a rare sighting of Joss Mooney. Could you believe it?
The final reckoning shot.
Yeah, we had 1 minute of the challenge that included both Joss and Logan to really allow us to just compare the two of them and decide who is hotter. Now,
can we talk about the actual deliberation?
No, because no, and I'll tell you for why I am mentioning this is because this deliberation very much seemed to be a deliberation that was based on Final Reckoning. Final Reckoning has never had so much of a buzz as it has in this deliberation, because we all know I fucking hated Final Reckoning, but now I have to talk about it. Now,
Lauren, do you want to discuss this? Because he's going to drag this down, because I actually thought this was really interesting.
Oh, well, it is. I like Final Reckoning.
Let me throw in. No. I've said it, but Ashley says, look, Cory's made it to finals by sitting in the middle. So let's talk about the Super Alliance, which I'm sure we can agree is now dead. Ashley says she says Cory knew who Priscilla and Jeremiah were going to pick, and then says Cory threw the ball to his friend and numbered Jeremiah in the mission. Now, Cory says, I'll just go through all of it and then we'll just pick it apart. Cory says Ashley wanted to swing big with him, but now her back's against the wall. She's saying all of this. And Ashley says she's only ever backstabbed Hunter and no one else. But Cory says, well, no, you always talk about it and you wear snake earrings around the house as a badge of honor. And Ashley says, no, that's a joke. And then she says it's crazy that not splitting $1 million with Hunter, who's her worst enemy, is coming back to haunt her. And CT agrees. And then Devin interjects and says, no one's going to vote based on personal attacks. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do you want to breathe for a little bit there, buddy? That was very, very impressive.
Thanks, man. That's why I'm a part-time podcaster, part-time rapper. Go on, guys. What do you think about this before we move on to the next part of the deliberation?
First off, this was a replay of the argument from last reunion. So I've heard this shit before.
We've all heard this shit before.
She has betrayed people outside of the Hunter thing. She flip-flopped between both alliances on War of the Worlds 2. So
did she? I thought she was always in Cora's Cole.
No, she's part of the
beginning. She kind of cut a deal with Laurel
to not go in for the ninja one. Exactly. So everyone in here is a fucking saint. The actual problem is I can't think of a time Cory's backstabbed anyone. But
we're all thinking for the audio listeners.
But so I will fill the silence. He's never really been empowered to backstab someone.
That's a great point.
So I don't think there's really. I don't think it has as much weight as he thinks it does, because he barely played last season. Total Madness, everyone queued up to go in nicely, and Final Reckoning, he was there for about 10 minutes. He's an idiot, and then for the rest of his challenge career, he has been loud, stupid, and had the vet target put on him straight away because he said he's coming for them.
I know who he backstabbed. He had a relationship. Well, yeah. No, he had a relationship with Darrell before Dirty 30.
Right, and sent him home first.
Did
Sent
he?
him home to Redemption House. From just hanging out.
Oh, really? Did
yes.
not know that.
I'm sure Darrell said it on like a reunion or something, or somewhere he said, you know, we were hanging out before the show and I thought we were boys.
That's very interesting, then. Okay, cool. Thank you, Levi.
And also, here's another one. Was it him or was it Nelson when they had that fight in one of my favorite eliminations, the three-way belt?
The free person? That was Nelson.
Yeah, Nelson.
Okay. Nelson can't deal with better. Okay.
So, okay, there was a lot that went on here. Who won this argument for you two?
Ashley won the argument for me because his argument is based on things that are 5 seasons ago. Ashley's talking about things that just happened in the last mission.
Yeah.
I feel Final Reckoning won this argument. Because now people are going to go watch it on Paramount Plus.
Mate, if you binge Final Reckoning, it's a pretty good season. Honestly,
give it a try. Give it a try.
I can't. I'm struggling with this season.
Try the rewatch of Final Reckoning without the breaks between them. It's actually pretty entertaining. It's fucking chaos as well, and I love chaos. Anyway, back to the actual chaos of a deliberation. Yeah, I think it was Lauren, you said it earlier, and I think I touched on it as well, that chucking the ball to Jeremiah was the nail in his coffin. It just meant that the entire thing this season has been bets against rookies, and he has shown a absolute alignment with a rookie, and he's fucked.
Agree. I mean, I just don't think there's any other argument to be made.
And I think that's something
I had to rewind the TV 3 times because I was like, is he really making an argument based on her earrings? I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd misheard it. I mean, that's got to be the silliest thing.
Lean forward a little bit towards the camera. Just checking these earrings out.
Oh, no snakes in my ears.
No, they seem pretty kosher. No, I'm happy with them. But what's interesting is, one of these big things is, Cory, you're working with the rookies. And Devin says this. He says, listen, this is what I want to know to secure my vote. Was any instruction given to Priscilla to keep a rookie team alive? And Priscilla says, no, the whole thing was my choice. I didn't tell Cory, but she asked Nelson if it was okay with her switching partners. And I feel like Nelson would have told Cory she's going to switch partners. Also, what I'd also like to say is I'm sure they were all fully aware she was going to switch partners, but Devin doesn't believe her. Boom, Devin's vote sealed. And you know who teleports into deliberation to start piping up as usual? It's only bloody Josh. He says, look, Cory, you snatched the ball from me to give it to a rookie. So where's that leave me? Josh, no one cares. And then Cory says, listen, I've been all about the vets, and I'm happy that we've played the game this way. But then Amanda pipes up. I love when Amanda gets involved and says, well, why didn't you pass the ball to Kyle? And Cory's like, because he was playing for the other team. Now, can I say, I don't think Cory and Kyle are ever going to trust each other. And when we get to their argument, I will explain why. But then guess who comes in to defend Cory? Only his best boyfriend, Nelson, because Amanda is decided to, back her best girlfriend, Ashley. And Nelson says to Amanda, this is my favorite one, how can you defend Ashley? You sacrificed yourself for Ashley. Then she stole $500,000 from our friend, and she only sent you a $500 gift card. What?
This is a bit where I had to rewind the episode 3 times already.
That's such a classic Nelson comment.
Also, it's a very good point. Is Nelson only friends with people in case they give him money? Doesn't make him look like a great friend here. It's like, you don't buy your friends; you're friends with your friends. God, that was shit. Yeah. I mean, that was such shit analysis.
But you know what, though? She makes a very good point where she's like, well, like, you threw yourself in for Cory and you got nothing out of it.
Yeah, but you've had Cory's got nothing out of it anyway. He's shit at finals.
Exactly. But then it turns into an Ashley Nelson thing, the sexual tension. So she's like, look, we're friends outside the game. And then Nelson's like, well, you're a different person in this game. And then Cory's pissed off, people don't trust him. And then CGI TJ pops up and tells him to vote. Okay, let's break this down before we talk about the voting. What the fuck is going on?
Scene, second best deliberation scene of the season.
What's your first episode?
Yeah. No, Kel's ripping Josh to shreds. Oh. If anyone was going to find this out about me, it wouldn't be you, because you're a dumbass. Not quite word for word, but I really, really enjoyed that just for its simplicity. I found this way more entertaining because it was 2 established players using every trick in the book.
It was 4 established players doing that.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's Cory versus Ashley, really. But yeah, just like full on going at her. I've had 3 seasons of fucking skulls. Finally, and sorry, 2 seasons of skulls and then whatever the hell this was at the start.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a challenge I really like, apart from people beating each other up. It's so cool to watch. I love it when they fight.
Lauren, did you feel like with every word that came out of Nelson's voice, that came out of Nelson's mouth in this deliberation, he got dumber and dumber and dumber?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's every word that comes out of his mouth in general, right?
he just, I felt like it all sounded wonderful in his head. And then he said it and it was like, dude, like, she didn't even have to give her the $500 voucher.
Yeah.
It doesn't even seem real, to be honest. It sounds made up.
Can I ask you a question, Lauren? If you win $1 million, how much do you have to give to the tax man?
Oh man, at least 40%, probably closer to 50.
So they're like $500,000 to the tax man.
Yeah.
So it's either the tax man or Hunter, and she hated Hunter. She may as well have given it to the tax man.
Sure.
And then she had a little $500 that she could put in a gift card. I want to know what the gift card was. Amazon? Macy's? Bloomingdale's?
Gift card isn't real. No gift card.
Why do you think no gift card?
Because if she's really going to help out Amanda after she's won $1 million, $500, at least give her $5,000.
Yeah, I think they're significantly more likely that Ashley takes her on holiday all the time and does nice things like that for her throughout. It was weird. I do think the gift card exists because it was such a weirdly specific thing to call out. This is actually my second biggest challenge mystery after what the hell CT was meant to take over a telecoms company, which I will never forget about. Don't have my voice there. But yeah, weird argument.
You know there's a receipt for this gift card somewhere, like an actual receipt. I just want to know what the gift card was.
Yeah, I don't think that's the most important thing.
The challenge, Redditors React ... to the gift card.
More interestingly, has this drawn the biggest line in the sand, though, between who's going at each other throughout this game?
I'm still thinking about the gift card.
I think it has to. I think it's an interesting arc for them over a few seasons, right? Because they work together without wavering loyalty in Final Reckoning. And now here they are pitted against each other.
Yeah.
And like 5 episodes ago, Nelson and Ashley were shagging. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was a bit more than 5, but I'm just trying to make it not seem that long ago.
Yeah, and Nellie and Amanda are supposed to be best friends. I don't know what's happened. They could have teamed up and been great, you know. I think they're both making bad moves. Amanda and Ashley and Nelson and Cory.
It's crazy because everyone was all good, like until Priscilla pulled that move. Because Priscilla is a fucking genius. She's given us a proper episode of the challenge. Thank you, Priscilla.
It was so much better. Literally so entertaining. Sorry, should we discuss the votes and see who won the argument?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, is this the moment that we want to talk about Ashley? Because I know that you've said a few times we'll talk about that a bit later.
Oh, shit. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this deliberation kind of shines a light on what we've been saying a bit more than any other moment in this episode, which is she's obviously got relationships with these people outside the show. And it seems like every time she comes into the show, these relationships break down.
Yeah, but these guys will be fine after the show. And I thought she handled herself really well in this argument. She was logical.
I like her. I love Ashley.
Yeah, but this is why I don't think she needs to take a break. She's emotional, but she'll be fine with them. Like in a week and a half after filming's done, they'll be doing shots at the after party. The rap party, whatever it's called, and they'll just get on with it. And then next season, someone will betray someone else. They'll have another fight. Ashley will give us a brilliant argument and some very entertaining TV, and it all reply. I don't think she needs that break.
Okay.
Unless I'm seeing something unless I'm not seeing something you guys are.
I just feel like she gets really upset every season, and it's always to do with her relationships with people.
Fine, but also
it's so more intense this season to me. That's what's making me say she needs a break. Something about it feels a lot more intense or sad.
Is that
like how upset did she get with the Nelson Bertha thing? And like I thought they were just shagging.
She does kind of admit that is the one thing there. She does slightly admit that she might be catching feelings for Nelson. Maybe that's the accelerator to this that I'm missing. But yeah, I'm fine with it. Also, slightly selfishly, there are so few charismatic vets who can actually make a season interesting. She is one of them who, just by her presence, there will be entertaining gameplay.
Also, so few female champions that are still allowed on the show.
Very true.
Should we look at the votes?
Yes, please.
Here
this might be a 4.5 hour pod at this rate.
We always say that, and it always just comes out as about 2 hours. So let's have a look. So we have got Bettina and Cory were voted for by Amanda, Ashley, Biggie T, CT, Devon, Ed, Emmanuel, Emmy, who was very quiet this episode, Josh, Casey, Kyle, and Tori. Ashley and Ed were voted by Amber, Bettina, Cory, Jeremiah, Nelson, and Priscilla. The one that I find odd is Amber voting for Ashley and Ed because of the conversation that they had the night before. That's the only one that for me is a bit like that.
Well, I think it's probably to do with Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah's working with Cory, Amber's with Jeremiah.
That's a good shout, actually. I mean, it's a 12-6 vote. Anything that you guys see where you go, I'm not sure about that. Didn't see that one coming, anything like that? Oh, Big T voting for Cory when they just had that conversation.
That was an interesting one. But I think it's also, sorry, I can't remember which one you said it, but Tori floating around until she finds a bandwagon to jump on. I think it was pretty obvious who won this argument. And then you can see everyone's got their core voters. And then you've got Tori, Big T, CT to some extent as well, and Casey, who are going to follow the crowd. Casey is a follower unless she does lots of work behind the scenes, because she called every vote correct in Double Agents.
She's fucking boring though, isn't she?
Oh, she's a very good player.
Very boring player.
You see a boring side of her. There's a very good theory on the Reddit that someone's starting to think she's an absolute genius and just is puppet stringing everything and no one can catch her in the act. I don't agree with it yet, but I'm starting to see some merits to it.
I love that you preface that with yet. Lauren, do you think any changes, weird things in that voting that you didn't expect?
Not really, but I mean, back to your point about Amber and Ashley. I mean, I get why Amber voted for Ashley based on what I said. I don't get why they're not working together. They both are saying their threats. Amber seems to have nobody in the house. Why isn't she trying to team up with Ashley?
But didn't we see Ashley and Tori say neither of them could beat Amber? Is Amber just the number one target for all the women in the house at the moment?
Do you think Ashley was being sincere when she said all that to Tori?
Oh, I think Ashley would smash Tori in a final, but I think she was playing one day at a time in the game at the moment and trying to get the focus put on Amber.
Yeah, I think if I were Amber, I would try to get in with Ashley and Amanda and the rest.
Do you know who doesn't think that Ashley is sincere? And that's Devon, because he tells Nelson, Biggie T and Kyle, he doesn't like Ashley. And Kyle says, I don't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. And Cory's like, I don't want to hear that from you, Kyle, because you do. And then they get into a bit of an altercation. And Cory says, well, Kyle, your lies don't work on me. Now, this is where I said I want to come back to it. The first season that Kyle was on, the first game move he made was when he shook Cory and Nelson's hand when he had power, saying he wouldn't throw them in, and he threw Cory in against Nelson.
And then said he misunderstood what a handshake means.
No, because in Britain it doesn't mean that you're promising anything, does it, George? Kyle would never do that.
I'm so torn between the fact I want to be honest, but also I love Kyle. Kyle fucked him like royally in that first one. It is sometimes how we say goodbye, but Kyle has got no leg to stand on here.
Although I do remember his wording was, I will consider not throwing you in.
No, that's what he said in confessional. Very good point to bring up, though. I actually forgot that was their first interaction on the challenge.
What I will say is I can't take all the credit. Cory said it on the aftermath with the wonderful Devon Simone.
Fair enough.
You know, honest
hold
me.
Can hold a grudge, Cory.
I know. But you know, it was interesting because Kyle says he doesn't trust Cory because when things don't go for him, he goads people. Also, he says Cory threw him in last season. I love, though, that Kyle just ends the altercation in the best way to end an argument. Fuck off, man. And then just walks off.
It's very hard to come back to that from that one.
I know. And you're just like, oh, fair enough. But then Kyle does a really interesting confessional, which I think just basically sums up his self-awareness of everything, which is, I'm sick of being treated like a snake because everyone in this house is a snake and everyone lies and I just admit it. It's true.
It's true. Great point. I totally agreed with it.
He's had a quiet season.
Everyone in this house will play a scared game when they can because it's easy and it's the best way to get to the final, but it's what everyone accuses everyone else is doing. Everyone will backstab anyone they can because it's for a lot of money. Actually, to be fair, Cory and Nelson might be the one where that wouldn't happen. Everyone is guilty of everything everyone has ever accused anyone of doing in this game. It's hilarious.
I think Kyle, and I actually think CT is the other person who comes to mind, is they're good at knowing the exact right moment and person to backstab. They never seem to do it too early or too late.
Well, CT backstabs the same person every season.
It's just always Kyle.
It's always Kyle.
So maybe CT's a little better at it then, but I think they're good at it.
I do. Oh, that'd be great this season if Kyle's the one to get out CT.
Oh, but do you know what will actually happen? CT will get Kyle out.
Yeah, I know. I'm just having wishful thinking.
And then do you know what happened on the next season that Carl's back? Because I don't think he'll be back next season because he's just had the baby. I think he'll be back the season after. He'll get back in an alliance with CT and then CT will backstab him again. But
just in episode 1 to keep things interesting.
Yeah, he's just not that intelligent. But do you know who's showing a little bit of intelligence? Is the beautiful blonde bombshell that is Bettina. Because along with that alliteration goes a very good brain, because she says to Cory, look, we can't stay together because we're going to get voted in every week now. We're the target. So when we go in, you pick Casey and I'm going to pick CT. Hello, brains of Sweden.
Isn't that kind of obvious to do, though?
Yes, but Bettina said it.
Lauren, what's been your opinion of Bettina throughout the season?
Well, kind of the same as the cast members were saying, you know, like I didn't really think too much of her, but it seems like she's stronger than I thought and smarter than I thought.
Yeah, the point where it changed for me is when she was gassing Amber up
in the toilet.
That does show a lot of mental fortitude. No, it's when she was gassing up Amber to go into elimination last episode because she was on the chopping block. I was like, you're a little bit more manipulative than I gave you credit for here. I was like, actually, fair play.
I think she's quite smart, you know.
No, definitely. But I mean, shit at puzzles. We saw her and Cory with that last time.
Do you think she's playing the bimbo?
Ooh, that's a very good
like
point.
A Kyle in his first season.
Oh my god, I'm now only going to think of Kyle as a bimbo, and that's really weird.
But you know what I mean? Like, she's been playing this, but actually she's, you pick him, I'll pick him. Oh, if you want to go in, you go in. Do you think it's the power of the blonde roots?
You realise my mum's not blonde, right?
You stop talking about your mum. You need to get over it. It's not happening. But do you know what I mean? Like, you know, she shows some. She shows some really, really, really good intelligence there. Someone who's not shown much intelligence or anything at all so far this season, except for a good elimination performance in last week's episode, is Jeremiah. He knows it's going to be him as the agents head to meet TJ in the lair. So why don't we go down there ourselves and find out who the agency have voted in to face Bettina and Cory in the elimination? So first, Jeremiah, obvious choice, 2 weeks in a row. When it rains, it pours. You should probably wear some rain boots to get through that.
Wellies!
Wellingtons! Obvious choice, nothing to really talk about there. Do you agree?
No, good move. It's someone who Cory is clearly working with, and you pit people against each other, right? It makes sense entirely.
Yeah. Lauren?
I agree. Not much more to say about that. Totally agree.
Plus, if I hear you know what I'm saying one more time, I'm going to lose my mind.
But also, he's not going to say anything back to anyone for throwing him in because he doesn't talk. And then for the girls, they voted in Amber. Now, you're not going to like this, George, because I'm going to say something nice about Nanny. So Nanny said some really lovely things when she voted Amber in, and I feel they were things that Amber needed to hear. And she said, this person is beautiful inside and out, but she's also a challenge champ. So for obvious reasons, my vote is for Amber. She whooped my ass in the final last year, TJ. And I think it was nice. Amber was like, I love you, Nanny. She took it really well. And I think it's nice that she said that because I feel like Amber's been character assassinated this season for absolutely no reason. So for someone like Nanny, who people actually do respect, to say something like that, I think it kind of helped her a bit.
Honestly, I laughed out loud at the whip my ass in the final bit. I thought that was really self-aware and really, really funny, and obviously so true. So yeah, it's pure strategy, but handled very, very well. And Nanny has got a very, very good social game. Oh, yes, sorry, I didn't say something rude.
I think she was being sincere.
100%.
But I also think she planned to say something like that in case Amber did come back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Lauren, you're so distrusting. You've turned into George when it comes to Nanny.
I actually think I'm not distrusting. I think she's a smart player. Not a good physical player. I think she's smart.
Yeah. Oh, that's something George would say, that she's a bad physical player. Anyway, so it's Cory and Bettina versus Jeremiah and Amber. So let's head back to TJ to find out what game they'll be playing. Okay, so they are playing Hang in the Balance. So they start on one platform where they've got a load of puzzle pieces. They need to work together to move all their puzzle pieces to the other platform, but they have to go across this odd-shaped, unsteady beam. And then once they've got their puzzle pieces over there, they need to solve the puzzle. Well, it looked easy when you just looked at it. And then they put their feet on the beam and it was like, yeah, this is fucking impossible. I didn't realize the beam would be unsteady because TJ just said it was odd shaped.
So I thought this was going to be really similar to the mission in Final Reckoning where Kyle sabotaged.
Final Reckoning's been all over this week.
Yeah, true. But the one on the train where Faith has that great line of, "Oh my God, we're going to Hogwarts."
I don't remember this one.
That's one of my favorite lines in the challenge.
Did she end that with "We're going to Hogwarts"?
She left it out that time.
That was just actually, that line was really well delivered by Faith. I really, really enjoyed that. Also,
so which
really
mission is this?
It's like one of the earliest ones on Final Reckoning. I think it's just when Tony arrives.
I thought that one they're locked in a cage.
No, that was a few things later. It's where Zach and Amanda smash it because Amanda's the only one who knows how to read and read all the clues on the inside of the cage.
I mean, we could talk about the fact Zach and Amanda should have won Final Reckoning if they had put their egos and hatred for each other aside for hours. But we've already gone for hours, so let's talk about this elimination. Lauren, what did you think when you saw it? What was your initial thought of who was going to win?
I couldn't figure out what was going on at first. That was my initial thought. I was like, what is the point? They keep on falling down. What are they doing? I really couldn't figure it out. But obviously, I thought Amber and Jeremiah were going to win. They took off and they finally got something down. I was so impressed by Amber's leg work. I mean, she must have the strongest legs and the strongest core to be able to do that grasshopper move. So I thought they had it in the bag because I didn't think Bettina could do anything close to that. And it looked like that was the only way that they were going to be able to get across that oddly shaped plank.
Is it me, or on their last go round before they had the big fall and then really kind of had trouble with their arms and legs and the lactic acid and everything? Is it me, or did they have the last four pieces and three of them fell off? So had they actually got all four of those on, they would have absolutely smashed it. They'd have had about 4 hours to solve the puzzle.
Oh, wow. I didn't notice that.
Yes. So I noticed basically that was it. They had four pieces and she had them on her arms and under her chin and she was doing it and they got to the end, like the other platform, And as she went to put them on, 3 of them fell off, and she got 1 on. They went and picked 3 of them up, went back up the thing, and then she just couldn't move. So, and I think Bettina and Cory only had about 4 pieces across. So she must have been, and Jeremiah must have been in incredible pain at that point.
And probably, if that's what really happened, she dropped them right at the end. I mean, you guys have heard the phrase, it takes the wind out of your sails. She probably lost the adrenaline, got discouraged. It could have been that too.
Did Amber come up with the strategy, right? That her and Jeremiah used? It must have been her.
It seems like it.
Yeah, I feel like if Jeremiah came up with it, he wouldn't vocalize it because he doesn't speak. So she must have come up with it. I did think it was interesting that after they dropped those 3, so they had 3 pieces left, and she said, "Oh, give me a kiss." That was almost the kiss of death in this elimination.
What an interesting thing to ask for in an elimination.
I'd have done it.
With Jeremiah or with George's mom?
George's mom. Not George's mom, Ed, George's brother.
Quick thing here. Fair play to Jeremiah for muscular endurance. That thing was hard, and Cory couldn't do it. I actually think when they were using as Lauren so wonderfully called it, the grasshopper technique, I think Cory and Bettina got 1 successful trip, and Jeremiah and Amber got a lot. I think Amber's probably a bit lighter than Bettina, but
I also think that Jeremiah's probably a bit stronger than Cory.
Yeah, that's probably fair as well. But credit where it's due. Jeremiah did very, very well there. Fair play to Amber for coming up with it. Do we now move on to the pivotal moment of this elimination?
What, where she dropped those 3?
No, where Bettina's like, "Stop it, listen to me, I've got an idea here."
Oh, sorry, Bettina the genius. Bettinius.
Bettina the blonde.
She's honestly, she was nothing when she had dark hair. Then suddenly the blonde roots came through, and she's a genius. But yeah, no, she says to Cory, "This shit's not working. Why don't we try this?" And suddenly they're fucking pissing themselves, getting across all the time. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, Superman next time. Whoa.
They're absolutely flying. I'd love to know how long this elimination went on, because everyone is spent by the end. But to me, Bettina's strategy is the one to go for first. So I'd love to know if they tried that first and couldn't do it, and then somehow it got easier.
I was wondering if they tried it, but the height difference, because Jeremiah is pretty tall, right? Maybe that's why it couldn't work for them.
Yeah, Amber's not short though. I think Amber's like
she's
5'9". Yeah, Jeremiah's about, I think 6'3", probably.
He looks
Cory's
taller.
Probably. Yeah, but he's not as tall as Fessy, and Fessy's 6'5". It's the only challenge height thing I know is true because it's on an NFL measurement thing. Whereas Bananas being 5'11" is bollocks. He's 5'8.25". So
I'm same height as Peter Crouch if Bananas is 5'11". Niche for the Americans.
Yeah, Peter Crouch is a 6'7" footballer who has given the best answer ever in an interview when he's asked by the interviewer, "What would you be if you weren't a footballer?" And his response with no break is, "A virgin."
Probably a virgin. He's an absolute legend. I bumped into him. I know we talked about petrol earlier in this podcast, but I actually did bump into him on after I'd finished Yom Kippur and I'd had the meal to break the fast. I think this was 2 or 3 years ago on the drive back from my parents back to mine. I stopped to get petrol at a little Waitrose in London. And there was this amazing car next to me, and I looked in and it was the most beautiful woman that I've ever seen in the front passenger seat. And I realized it was George's mum. No, and it was Abby Clancy, who is Peter Crouch's wife, and she's a model. I think she came second in the first ever Britain's Top Model. No one can hear that, George. It's not close enough to the microphone. And yeah, I saw Peter Crouch coming out of the little Waitrose, and I never do this when I see celebrities, But I genuinely said to him, I was like, mate, I never do this, but like, you are one of my favorite footballers of all time. Could I get a photo? And he was very obliging. And then I said, and this is a bit cheeky, someone I know is a huge fan, you wouldn't be able to do a video. And he did it. And he didn't charge me £300 like Cameo does. So lovely chat.
Nice.
And then I tweeted him saying thank you. And he replied saying, no worries. Lovely to meet you.
Oh, that's quite lovely, actually. He would have struggled on this elimination, though. Lauren, for context, he's like 6'7", has no body fat, and looks like a stick insect.
Wow.
It's the weirdest thing to watch playing football.
But
everything about him, hold on, no, everything about him says you should not be a footballer. True or false, George?
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
My favourite one was where he scored an overhead kick. It just shouldn't have happened. Anyway, sorry, George, take over, please. I've lost the plot.
I actually really liked this elimination. It was, I know normally I really like the physical ones, but this had a lot of things I like to see if people are good at. I think Emmanuel would have smashed this. I don't think there's anyone better in the house who could probably have beaten him, because it's all balance and agility. I think Jeremiah and Amber were hamstrung by
height difference and size difference.
No, not even height difference, because that's what helped them. Because
Amber
being lower meant that they could initially get that right sense of balance because they were over the point of the pivot on the thing. So Amber's weight would balance out Jeremiah's, so they're both supporting each other. But that is next level exhausting. And the fact they weren't able to switch it up at the end. So as soon as Bettina and Cory started flying, they should have tried that tactic. I don't know if they did, but that's what I think they should have done. And it's that lack of adaptability, which I think is probably one of the biggest things that screws you over in the challenge in general. It's why Bananas is so good, because he will always find a way to make it work. But I don't think anyone in this elimination came out that badly except Cory. Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Do either of you remember if they were wearing gloves or not? Because I remember Amber saying one of the issues that they had was she kept slipping because of the sweat. I
don't remember them wearing gloves.
Very good point. I don't think they were.
Just something that went through my mind. It's a good point. I don't have much else to say on it because we don't know.
You're always analysing.
Love to analyse.
Do you guys want to see this come back? Maybe not this season, but in another season?
No, actually, no, because I think the best thing about it was the element of surprise about that beam. Now they all know about the beam. Now they've worked it out.
It was so funny. The first step, they both all just go.
Whoa! There was a great moment as well. Devin, line of the episode, Cory must be the first person to solve a puzzle elimination without touching the puzzle.
Yeah, that was good, actually. God, I love Devin.
Bettina came out of this episode amazingly, is what I'll say.
It's been back-to-back big upticks for rookies. And we've had little teasers of their talents before, but then this was awesome.
Bettina apparently showed a lot of her talents on Paradise Hotel Sweden. Sorry?
I said Bettina comes back next season.
No, apparently all the challengers hate her.
Oh, really?
Well, on the aftermath with the wonderful Devin Simone, Cory said, I thought we'd go because no one really liked Bettina. And then Amanda made a little joke going, no, I love Bettina. You were the problem.
Well, actually, also true. Yeah. I don't think off the back of this episode alone, Lauren, I'd want her back, but she's got more credit in the bank now, and I'm quite intrigued to see what she does next.
Yeah, good point.
Probably nothing. Oh, sorry, you mean like next episode as opposed to in her life?
Yeah, next episode.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant like in her career. I was like, I don't think you're going to see it. It'll be in Sweden.
Probably that.
By IKEA, I don't know. Marry Zlatan.
They solved the puzzle quite quickly.
It didn't look very hard.
Yeah, it didn't look hard. I was going to say I would want this elimination back with a harder puzzle.
Lost a day.
What would you have liked? Maybe like a world map. I know.
really, really, really like that line.
It's one of my favourite moments ever. Okay, let's go for the questioning. Who impressed you in this elimination? And I will happily accept everyone except Jeremiah as an answer.
Oh no, everyone except Cory.
Oh, sorry, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah.
Lauren, do you agree?
Amber and Bettina. I don't think Jeremiah did that much, honestly, but
no, I agree. Sorry, the only reason I'm giving a little bit of credit to Jeremiah there is
because he was
his
better
muscular
than Cory.
endurance is significantly better than Cory, because at least he got over 6 times, and having your arms fully extended and then a dead weight on the end of it is actually really, really knackering, and he did it often.
Well done, Jeremiah. I'm really proud of you.
You know what I'm saying? So annoying.
At what point in the elimination did Amber ask him for that kiss? Now I'm thinking like
it was that moment after they'd done what would have been the last one, and she dropped the 3. Okay. So they got 1 across, and I think that was like, okay, we can do this with 1 more go. Let's have a kiss. Let's do it. And then after they climbed up the ladder again, I think her arms were gone, because you saw her like trying to get blood flow back into them and stuff like that. But yeah, it was. I like eliminations where no one comes out looking bad, like the Theo Kyle Hall Brawl. I know we talk about it a lot, and the Nelson Rogan Hall Brawl as well.
I thought Fessy came looking bad from, or you said Rogan. I thought you meant
Rogan,
Fessy
yeah.
one.
Nah, Fessy's a cock. Yeah, Fessy came out looking like a proper dickhead. But Cory and Bettina won the elimination, and Jeremiah and Amber have been eliminated, which obviously makes George and I very sad. Sad faces, George. There you go. For the purpose of the listeners on the audio, we're making sad faces, and George looks like he's about to cry. What did we think? Let's start with Jeremiah. Jeremiah, do you think he's going to be back? Didn't really do anything.
He's like one of those people where he did nothing on his Love Island season, so he somehow still got cast for the challenge, which makes me think he'll somehow get cast again.
Is he not one of the ones that it's probably because he's quite cheap? And if he comes back for a second season, it'll be more expensive. And there's sorry, Jeremiah.
Do you think that's why there's more rookies every season now compared to the old Real World seasons? Because now that they're paying them, it's cheap because of how expensive the vets are. It's cheaper to get half a cast of rookies from a different country.
Yeah, probably. I reckon it's probably $7,000 between $5,000 and $7,000 for a rookie, with a weekly stipend on top of it. And when you're a full vet, it's apparently between $80,000 and $100,000. To come back on, so it has to be done to balance it out. And I think they took a look at Jeremiah and was like, sorry, Lauren, I didn't watch his Love Island season, but him doing nothing doesn't surprise me. But he's a big bloke who's clearly in shape, so like he's worth a gamble. Let's see if he does anything that's impressive physically. And they did that, and when he's on the second season, he'll cost more, and he's not worth the gamble. They can find someone else who's big, fit, and dumb. God,
I hadn't thought of it. It's making me think of those podcasts you guys were doing over the summer where you talked about how to change the challenge for the better. Should they spend
challenge Redditors React Roundtable with Brian?
Yeah, exactly. Should they spend more money on who's competing?
What, and less money on prizing?
Oh, no, not less money on prizing. This is what I really hope they do for season 40. I hope you don't need helicopters, jeeps, and explosions. You need to give more people, like, okay, I roughly know how much it costs to rent a helicopter. It is not cheap. For
Why
one
would you
day
know that?
I have a weird life. For renting a helicopter for one daily mission, even in Croatia, where I imagine it's cheaper, actually no, fuel costs it probably the same. That would get you a vet for a season for the appearance fee. I don't know the weekly stipends, but like you get rid of that beanbag throwing challenge. You could easily have 2 vets appearance fees covered for that.
I don't know what just happened to our lives.
Sorry, I really like financial analysis. It really gets me going. Fucking love economics.
Okay. Speaking of vets,
This cocktail is weird.
you're fucking
It's
weird
made me-
tonight, George.
It's made me very strange.
Well, I mean, speaking of vets and vets that they can get on for another season, a third season, this was her second season. What did we think of Amber's second season performance? Very different to last year. Lauren?
I think, she had a bit of the sophomore slump, right? It's happens to rappers. It happens to Challenge Champ.
I actually disagree. I think if anything, she was an alternate this season. There is no chance if she gets invited back, they're ever saying she's an alternate again. Because so many key points of the last 5 episodes were focused around her, and she's shown.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guess it depends on like what your definition of success is: winning a season or being featured more. So.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. In your term, then yes, absolutely sophomore slump. But I think that was literally from. She was almost the perfect game of flying under the radar last season. And she obviously couldn't do that again. So I thought also, if you've got 450 grand in the bank, you can go, yeah, I'm going to play slightly differently here because you've got a massive safety net.
How much
like a free
tax
hit in
is that,
baseball.
Lauren? How much tax comes out of that?
She probably got 60% of that. So what? Around 300K, I'd guess.
It's nothing to turn your nose up at. But if you thought you're having 450, it's a bit shit. I swear we don't like. On English shows, you don't get taxed.
Yeah, I think Jenny West got to keep her. There's a very, I think, what was the season Evan won against Mark Long?
One of the
because Evan was Canadian. Well, he still is Canadian.
So the theory that, Mark and Brad, that was it. I think it would have been Duel 2 because Wes won Duel 1. I think.
Duel 2. I think you're right.
But I think they gave it. They said they let Evan win because he wouldn't have to pay tax, and they agreed to split it, which is proper challenge shit. Sorry, allegedly that is a rumor, but it's a rumor I've seen a lot.
I actually think
incredibly funny.
You're right about the Jenny thing, because I'm sure, like on one of her Instagrams, people have said, "Has the money actually gone in your account?" And she did a screen. I know. I think someone said of the 500K, what was the conversion rate? So she did a screenshot of it being in her account. And then I did the reverse conversion rate, and it did go up to I think it was like 497, because obviously the conversion rate had changed at that point from when she got given it, because it was a few months later. So yeah, she wouldn't have got taxed. So if Kyle wins, he doesn't get taxed.
Yeah, cool. Give the fines to Kyle.
Yeah, so much money for little crew.
Do you think Evan sent Mark and Brad $500 gift cards after he won Duel 2?
No, but I bet he sent one to Kenny and Bananas. Where do you reckon Bananas' gift card was for? Banana Republic. Thanks, guys. So Amber's second season, interesting one. I think as far as TV character, amazing for her. As far as getting $450,000 minus tax in your bank account, not so great.
Good summary.
Thanks, mate.
What do you think her third season looks like? She's got to do something differently, don't you think?
I don't even know how you. Annoyingly, the thing she's so good at is such a final threat. I think she's going to get targeted so often. Oh, unless it is concrete pairs throughout the entire season, and she gets someone awesome as a partner, then that could work.
If they do another rival, she could end up with Fessy.
Oh, fucking hell, that's a terrifying team.
Yeah, that'd be a great pair.
Because Fessy's amazing at maths.
They could win a final easy, and I don't think people would target them.
No, they'd crush one.
That'd be interesting. Who knows? Well, Cory and Bettina, they've got a decision to make. Do they stay together? Do they infiltrate? Or do they have a decision to make at all? What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Why? What? Why? What's going? TJ, What? Is this a joke? Help me. I'm having a meltdown.
Okay, what are our options for what this could mean? One, they get to pick partners back at the house, and it's just a bit of shithousery from TJ. But I think we mentioned he's quite a fan of the shithousery.
I think the weirdest thing wasn't that they don't pick partners, it's that he left Ed and Tori on their own.
The obvious one there is that the percentage bigger.
Yeah, but you think he'd at least say that, like, oh, you guys go back, Ed and Tori, you're back together, see you later.
So it's either shithousery, it's either concrete pairs for the rest of the season, or it breaks up into individual.
Go on, Lauren.
I was going to say one thing I saw on Reddit, and this is why I love Reddit, because I never, ever would have noticed this, is the puzzle was the same logo as Cutthroat. So people are thinking it's Spies.
Oh my God, who caught that?
You got to get him on the podcast next, whoever got it.
Guys, I actually just got shivers up my spine.
That's the cocktails.
Actually, it might be a rugby injury. My back really
That's crazy. I don't think it's individual, because if they went individual, they fucked up the whole show, because it'll be rookie bloodbath again, because it's even easier to get rid of rookies in an individual game.
Okay, so if it is 3-team format, okay, we saw clips of what the daily looks like next episode, didn't we? It looks very similar to what the first episode of this season was. Is it individual, winner, the first 3 become team captains?
Yeah, because Cutthroat was schoolyard pick, wasn't it?
It was indeed.
So
for
maybe
the 3 worst people, which I found really funny.
Who was it? Camilla?
Siobhan? And Emily with 2 E's?
Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
She was lovely.
Jesus Christ, if that's right, that's some niche knowledge.
Yeah. I only remember Camilla because she said something horrendously racist when she picked Brandon.
Oh, she literally said, let's get some colour in here, didn't she?
Yeah, it was disgusting.
Wow.
Yeah, apparently on that season, she was calling him the N-word as well.
How did they let her just continue on the show?
I don't care.
We've gone way off. But that's really interesting. That's okay. My brain is blown up now, Lauren.
Lauren, great. Oh, great. I'm not sleeping tonight.
Because, go check it out. It's one of the top posts right now.
He's got that, like, I want to look for spoilers in his eyes. Look at him.
No, that's my. No, these are my drunk eyes.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty wasted right now.
That's actually really interesting. I'd be interested to see that, because I am a bit bored of what they're doing at the moment, and I think that would lead to a lot more spying, lying, and allying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Depending on who's on what team, right? It's totally shakes things up.
Here's another question. Do you think they were going to go as is for the whole season, and then they got to this point and they were like, hold on a second, let's just switch it up, because at some point we might end up with another rookie team, and then it's back to square one? And when I say they, I mean the producers.
I don't think so, just because, and I'm not really a fan of all these late season twists or mid-season twists, but they seem to really be doing them a lot in recent seasons. So no, I think that was planned from the beginning.
Which is a bit of a shame, because this episode was so good. We got everything we wanted. It'd be interesting to see if this dynamic stays for a little bit with the vets going against each other.
The problem is, if they do this Cutthroat thing, they will again start getting rid of rookies again.
Oh, they'll just vote rookies in from their own team, won't
Yeah.
they? Although, are the rookies left strong enough now that doesn't actually matter? No, yes, it'll be
no, because it'll be rookie versus rookie.
Yeah. All right, beat me to it, dick.
Oh, you've really thrown me here, Lauren.
Yeah, that's a really cool bit of insight. We need to edit that, put it at the start of the podcast, because that's the most interesting bit that's come out of it.
No, stuff about your mum's fucking gold. But I'll tell you what, if this happens, this will get clipped up and put on next week, 100%. It's what the people want. Well, while we digest that, because I think our brains have just gone on overdrive, do we not agree that every time TJ shithouses them, Nanny's reactions are the greatest things in the world?
The final double agents one is. What does she say when he says you have to dunk your head in the water?
You're evil.
Yeah, it's not funny, TJ. Yeah, that is.
I really like, because I feel like obviously Nanny's been about 648 seasons, so she knows him quite well, and she's like, oh, here he goes again with his fucking bullshit. She just has no patience for him anymore, which I quite like. So yeah, as I said, Ed and Tori don't have partners. What the fuck's going on? Turning into Cutthroat, according to Lauren. That's exciting. And TJ tells them in this game they must be prepared for anything to come their way. And I'll tell you what, I felt like Ed, because this game has made me not know anything about anything. Well, it ends the episode. What did you think of that episode, Loz?
Oh, I loved the episode. I thought it was the best one of the season.
Oh, that is a big, well, I don't know why I'm leaning. This is weird. That is a big thing to say. Who impressed you the most, Lauren?
You know, I mean, it has to be Bettina for pulling out the elimination when we never thought she was going to, right? There's no other option, right? But it was my favorite. I'd say second is maybe Ashley for out politicking Cory.
I like that. George?
I loved the episode. It almost had not too much in it. We've been talking about it for 3.5 hours.
No, we haven't. Yes, we have. Jesus Christ. This might be coming out on a Saturday.
Good on the edit, mate. Yeah, great episode. It had great daily mission. The elimination was a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. So much strategy. Really good callbacks to previous challenges. I think this is an 8.5 out of 10 as an episode.
I love how you just come up with random numbers out of nowhere.
Do you want to know how much it costs to rent a helicopter?
Nope.
Not telling you. Right, tune in next time.
Well, yeah, it's my mind is blown, to be honest. I'm not even going to ask what do you see happening going forward, because Lauren has already told us what the Reddit think, and that is the most important thing for us. So I think all that is left for us to do, Lauren, is to say thank you so much for coming on. 5 times now you've been on this podcast. Are you not sick of us yet? You sick of us yet?
I'm not. I love coming on.
Oh, well, we love having you on, and I'm sure you will be on for a 6th and probably 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th time over the next few weeks. Now, we potentially are recording a bonus episode on Sunday. Yeah, don't make a plan and forget, George, because we need you. Yes, had a lovely FaceTime while I was watching the episode this week, and we have arranged to sit down on Sunday, everything permitting with everyone's schedules. So if that all works out, we have a special, I'll call it a Champions edition of the podcast coming up on Sunday. If it doesn't work out, our schedules haven't worked out, and we'll get it all up and running another time. But it'll be very exciting, won't it, George? I think we're going to find out a lot of things about this season during that conversation.
Can be quite cutthroat.
Oh, this guy. Well, George, after this, I think once we finish recording, we need to continue the conversation. You know where we can do that? We can do that over on the Challenge subreddit. Or if you want to continue the conversation with us, you can do that over on our Instagram or our Twitter, which we don't use. But the Instagram is @Challenge React. Lauren, you've blown our mind. It's been lovely having you. George, it's always lovely having you. And I look forward to Flight Club with your mum and Ed, who I also love. And he loves me and will not hurt me. So, as always, let's leave you with a preview of next week's episode of The Challenge. Ready, George? Spies, lies, and... He didn't say it loud. Spies, lies, and allies.
Lies.
Take care. Have a lovely week.